team. My main man, Mike Bibby. He's a coach. I love it.
Now, time for John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour one of John and Jim. We're back, and the Padres are as well. They'll play tonight against the Giants, trying to snap that 4-game skid. First pitch at 6:40, and we have you covered over the next 4 hours. Really good show lined up for you. Friend of the show, Alan Sliwa, on the Lakers and the playoffs and the Padres. He's a Padres fan. He will join us at 2:30. How about Dave Fleming, who is the longtime radio voice for the Giants, of course, an ESPN broadcaster. He will join us coming up at 3 p.m. We'll talk Aztecs hoops. The portal is closed. Dave Velasquez on the show at 3:30. And then the interview that I care about, that Jim actually bailed on.
Hold on. This is what we're starting today.
I thought we were going to start with the technology in the studio, but
we will get there in a second, because we love technology on this show. So I get a text message this morning. I stayed up late last night. I don't know why.
What were you watching?
I was watching the Warriors game.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was late, actually.
Yeah, and then we started watching this show. You know, have you ever heard of the show called Yellow Jackets?
Yeah, we watched some of it. Was that about, is there a plane crash or something?
It's basically like the Lord of the Flies
yeah.
with a bunch of teenage girls.
Yeah, a little bit of Lost in there.
Yeah, it's like
a little bit in there.
Combination of Lost.
And we love Lost back in the day. So, yeah, I've watched some of it.
Watching that.
It's a good show.
And then for some reason, I just up.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
nothing's going on tomorrow morning. Gonna sleep in. It's fine.
What time did I text you? I mean, I knew it was risky because you're never up in the 8 o'clock hour.
You texted me at 8:30 a.m. 8:32.
Is that late?
Yeah. So you texted me at 8:30 a.m. You said this. Hey, if you're awake, can you record a John Canzano interview at 9 a.m. on the Pac-12 2025 media deal? And then I don't respond because I'm dead asleep.
I didn't expect you to.
You text me at 9:19. You go, dude, best interview you've ever done.
Yeah, I was done.
I still don't respond because I'm still asleep.
Right. And then at 9:30ish.
9:30ish, I go, what?
Yeah.
And I go, yeah, you're right. That was the best interview I ever did.
Right. So we had to tape with John Canzano, who's like, he does an amazing job of like reporting on the Pac-12, right? But he does a radio show in Portland from 2 to 6, I think. So I had to record. I gave him 3 times and he said, can we do 9 a.m.? I said, well, I can. I don't know if Jim can. So a really good conversation. You're not going to want to miss if you're an Aztec fan or a Pac-12
I can't wait to hear it, by the way.
You're going to enjoy it coming up at 4:30. Let's get into tonight. We'll get into the technology in our studio, which is like blowing our minds because nothing ever changes at iHeartRadio in a decade. Yet everything has now changed.
They're like, do you want this? Do you want this? We're like, sure.
I guess things are good in sports radio. Apparently, John and Jim is like, everything's great.
It's awesome.
Man, I need to see our ratings too. I think that either do I. I think Mike Schilt tonight becomes a better manager if Luis Arraez is activated. And if Luis Arraez looks like Luis Arraez. And it's not the only piece. They might get Jason Hayward. Now, again, we didn't think that means much.
Great. But team is saved.
But we've watched what's played out without him, and it has not been good.
Right. It's going from like awful to semi-awful.
Exactly. And how about this note? That since Arraez has gone out, I wrote this down because I saw it somewhere. Since Arraez has gone out, they have obviously scored the fewest runs in baseball, 9. And they've hit 167. The team has.
Is that good?
They're 1-5. So 1-5, 9 runs, 167 as a team. I mean, at least he's a guy that has hit for average for forever. Now, that doesn't mean he'll do it tonight against Logan Webb, but hopefully that sets a little bit of this table for this Padres offense that's been so lackluster.
I hope so. I hope that tonight they put up more than 3 runs, or at least 3 runs.
Against Logan Webb, I don't know if it's the big offensive night.
No, but you also are pitching Nick Pivetta.
True.
Counter to him. So Nick Pivetta has been amazing here at Petco Park. Hopefully that continues. But slowly but surely, yes, getting guys back from the IL will be beneficial. And you hope that they can perform. I just hope that there's not this overarching pressure and this overarching belief that just because these guys will be back in the lineup, everything's going to be okay. Because they still got to perform. They still got to go out and produce.
That is true. And most curious part of this is, does Arraez look like Arraez? I mean, he had a head injury. You have no idea what that means.
You got to be very careful with him.
You do. So I don't know if Arraez looks like Arraez. And I saw him for 6 or 7 games to start the year. He wasn't good to start the year. And he was, I don't know, I'm making it up, 2 for his first 20.
Yeah.
So if he's 2 for his next 20, that's not going to be helpful. And then when Merrill comes back, to your point, it doesn't mean he's automatically hitting 3 home runs in 10 games with his 1,100 OPS. Mm-hmm. So maybe it takes some time. I'm with you on that. I mean, it isn't everything is fine just because they return, but it is, I got a better chance to get fine by them being back in this lineup day in and day out. Not any one game. I don't know if they win today because of Luis Arraez, but play him 100 times and hopefully he helps the team win.
Well, yeah, he's a better option in the 2-hole than Gavin Sheets.
He is.
And Xander Sheets.
And him too.
Exactly.
Gavin Sheets has been fine. He has cooled off. Gavin Sheets has, they've all cooled off. The 167 over 6 games without Arraez speaks to everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I mean, we'll wait for official word, right? Because we'll get a lineup typically in that 3 p.m. hour, but they can slow play it a little bit because we haven't seen if Arraez is activated or if Jason Hayward is activated. I think the lineup looks a lot different with both of them, obviously, because it's been so thin. And from there, maybe Merrill on Friday when Kevin joined us. That's what he said was a potential option for the Padres. He's in Arizona. You saw him hit a ball on the ground last night. That was awesome. In the middle, Jackson Merrill
didn't run though. By the way, he's not allowed to run. Does that concern you a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if we'll be ready Friday. Absolutely, yes.
So the thing was in his, I guess, simulated game yesterday in Arizona.
Yeah, what did he do?
He was allowed to hit, but he was not allowed to run after he hit, and he hit a single up the middle and immediately walked back to the dugout because they're not allowing him to run. I don't like that.
Right.
Because I want him to start ramping it up or at least be allowed to start ramping it up.
Sure.
And if we are here on a Tuesday and we're expected to see him back Friday and he's not allowed to run the bases yet, is that good?
No, it's not. I mean, there's definitely a scenario where he's not back on Friday. I don't think you could pinch run for a batter in the batter's box either.
That'd be kind of cool, though.
And honestly, the thing with Merrill, unlike Arraez, Arraez, you have to be worried about how does he feel coming off this concussion. But with Merrill, you always have to have in the back of your mind, well, what if he pulls it again?
That is a big concern.
He could hit 3 home runs in a week, and then if there's a hamstring issue.
Yeah, don't listen to what the Padres have said about Jackson Merrill's injury. You know that it is a pretty, not significant, but it's serious enough to be concerned about it.
Definitely.
Because it's going to be a month.
It's going to be a month.
It's going to be a month. And if they were telling you from the jump, it's just a couple day thing, day to day, it's now a month thing. Yeah, it's a concerning injury that they are taking their time with, and as they should, but still, it is a significant injury. And
oh, by the way, this 4-game losing streak, I don't care who's in your lineup when you're playing a team that's been among the best in baseball and is playing like it right now in San Francisco, and you're facing legit starting pitching tonight. Logan Webb has gotten Cy Young votes for, I think, each of the last 3 years and has gotten off to a good start. He hasn't been perfect, but I think he's got around a 3 ERA so far this year, and the Padres just have not been scoring in general. So, again, to your point, I don't think everything is fine just because you get the lineup back, especially in this division when you're playing teams like San Francisco, as good as they are so far this year.
And the one thing that's impressive about the Giants this year isn't their just overall record. It's how they got to where they are right now to start the season. They have the best record. There's Adrian Garcia Marquez. They have the best record against teams over 500 in baseball. They're 15-7. That's the best mark in the sport.
And they're good on the road, right?
On the road, they're 10-6.
Yep. Really
now at home, it's interesting. I think they had the craziest walk-off win yesterday.
Yes. 2 days ago.
2 days ago. That was wild. But anyway, if I were to ask you though, John, who's in first place in the National League West, who would you tell me? Without looking.
Well, I'm not looking. I know it's the Giants are 19-10 and the Padres are 17-11 and the Dodgers are also maybe 19-10. I have no idea if the Dodgers are 19-10 or 18-10, so I'll say the Giants at 19-10.
It would be the LA Dodgers.
Are they 19-10?
Along with the San Francisco
Okay,
Giants.
they're both 19.
They're both 19-10.
Yeah.
Even though the Dodgers have an entire pitching staff on the IL right now. They are still, 19-10, but it will be a nice, I guess, just kind of little mini measuring stick to the first month of the year to see where you're at against one of the better teams in baseball, and obviously a team that you'll be chasing this year, it seems like, in the National League West and the Giants.
I think it's fair to say measuring stick because you might say, well, the Padres aren't healthy, but we're going to say the same thing when they play the Dodgers when the Dodgers are without, if they are, without Tyler Glasnow and Blake Snell.
You think the Giants are going to feel sorry that the Padres are without a couple players?
It's not just that. It's that the other teams are going to deal with it too. And I really do believe, to your point, I think the Dodgers are probably dealing with very similar. They're just dealing with it on the other side. They're dealing with pitching injuries, like being without starting pitching. They won a World Series last year with essentially two starting pitchers.
Yep.
So, I mean, you do have to overcome it if you want to win at that level, obviously.
The one thing that the Dodgers have proven that the Padres have yet to prove, and it's a small sample size, but still, my point is going to be the Dodgers have proven they can withstand injuries and that they can overcome injuries. Yes, I know they're deeper than the Padres, obviously, and they have a payroll that is almost double the Padres. But still, when you lose the amount of players the Dodgers have lost, most all teams in baseball would crumble in that situation. Not all, but most. And the Dodgers have overcome it well. The Padres, losing the players they have lost early on this season, they have not handled it well. And the players that you would hope that were going to step up in the absence of some key pieces in their lineup have not stepped up.
I don't know what it says about the Dodgers. To one point, to your point, they can overcome injuries. The other thing is, what have they done with their starting pitchers? I mean, from Snell to Glasnow, Kershaw's old, Tony Gonsolin. I'm just looking at this list right now. Otani obviously is not pitching right now. That's not their fault. But their whole staff is on the IL. Guys that have won, have won Cy Young awards or been All-Stars. Blake Trinan, Michael Kopech. I mean, the fact that they can overcome that many pitching injuries, including last year in the postseason, it's not easy to do. And when the Padres have dealt with that 2020 postseason without starting pitching, it did them in. I mean, it's hard to do. And we'll see if the Padres can get healthier here beginning tonight against the Giants. All right, at 2:30, Alan Sleewell will join the show. Much more on this series that'll get underway. A quick 2-game series on the other side between the Padres and the Giants. The first time this year the Padres have faced either the Giants, Dodgers, or the D-backs in the NL West. Alan Sleewell at 2:30. Dave Fleming, Giants radio broadcaster at 3. John and Jim All right, Lakers will try to extend their season tomorrow night. They'll take on the T-Wolves game 5 of this first-round series. Lakers down 3-1. It's win or stay home for L.A. Tip-off at 7 right here after SDFC Midweek Live. And you're home for the Lakers in San Diego. San Diego Sports 760 with much more on that series and on the state of some of these series in the West. Alan Sliwa will join us coming up in about 10 minutes or so at 2:30 p.m. Meanwhile, we are waiting on a Padres lineup at this hour. They typically release them at some point in the 3 o'clock hour. Padres coming off an off day, trying to snap a 4-game losing streak, trying to snap a skid of having lost 8 of 11 or 7 of 9, or however you want to look at it. And it will not be easy, as we've talked about here with the San Francisco Giants coming to town. Measuring stick, maybe. I just know this. You don't want to go through an entire homestand without picking up a win. So they don't have to win the next 2 days, but they certainly have to win the next one of the next 2 days, because you don't want to go to the road, a 9-game road trip after starting 12-1 at home and go winless on a homestand.
Yeah, it would be so Padres to have a month where you had an entire homestand where you didn't lose, and then an entire homestand where you didn't win.
Yeah, in the same month.
In the same month.
Right.
Hopefully that does not happen. Picking up at least a win here in the next 2 days to finish off the month 18-12. I think we would have signed up for that at the start of the year.
Right. So that's 1-1, you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But tonight, I've seen a little bit of this, and I don't think they can say that's now, but it's like, oh, the Padres haven't played anybody. It's like, well, okay, that doesn't make any sense to me. But
what's the record against teams above 500? Because didn't you have expanded standings?
I did.
You said the Giants had the best record in baseball against teams over 500. What's the Padres record?
10-11.
All right, so they've played 21 of their 28 games against teams that are over 500.
Mm-hmm.
So how can people be critical of their schedule?
Yeah, Cleveland, Detroit. Who else?
The only teams that are under.
Chicago.
Atlanta's about to be over. Atlanta's close to within 2 games.
Atlanta's on a tear right now, by the way. Interesting how those things work. They started the season 0-7.
But the only 2 teams they've played that under 500 are Atlanta and Colorado.
Yeah, and Colorado's the worst team in baseball.
The A's are over 500.
The A's are over 500, John. They are 15-14 on the year.
Their pitching's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how you could be
Houston
critical
is
of
over
Padres.
500, 15-13.
So I don't really understand the criticism of the Padres schedule. Now, will it be more challenging moving forward? Sure. I mean, they kind of played the Dodgers 13 times, the Giants 13 times. Mm-hmm. So sure, I would argue that the Giants have to play those teams too. So I'm not overly concerned about the schedule. I'm more concerned about the Padres looking like the Padres.
100%.
Like the schedule's schedule.
Sure. Schedule is the schedule. You play who's in front of you. Yep. Okay, whatever. But getting back to not what they were. It'd be great if they started, playing like they were when they're 14-3. That'd be awesome. That's also unrealistic expectations. Like, can you find somewhere close to that where you're putting up like 4 runs here instead of scratching and clawing for just like 2?
Right. I mean, they can't score.
I'll also be interested tonight, and I would bet if Arraez is back, which he's back. I think so. Everyone's like, he's back. The lineup: Tatis, Arraez, Manny, Gavin Sheets hitting in the cleanup
Bogarts
spot.
has to move.
Bogarts probably hitting 5th.
I'll put anyone else. Don't be scared to move him even more than the spot down, right? I don't care what the lineup looks like. It already is bad in the second half of that lineup. Yeah. What are you going to do? You really going to make the lineup worse by batting someone in front of Xander that previously had been behind him, no matter who it is? Like
truthfully,
Oscar Gonzalez or Jason Hayward?
Honestly, I would put Jose Iglesias in the 5 spot tonight.
I'd probably put Jason Hayward in the 5 spot tonight.
I would put because I like Jose Iglesias. He makes contact. Yeah. He's better. He's not a power bat, but he's a better contact hitter than Jason Hayward. And if a runner's in the scoring position, I would trust Jose Iglesias over Jason Hayward to get that run home.
That's fair.
For me, my lineup tonight would be Fernando Tatis Jr. hitting leadoff, Luis Arraez, Manny Machado, Gavin Sheets, Jose Iglesias, Jason Hayward, Xander Bogaerts, Tyler Wade, and then whoever's their catcher, who cares?
So you put Bogaerts 7th in that lineup behind. Who was your 6-hole hitter after Iglesias?
Jason Hayward.
Yeah, I agree with that. I could see that. I don't know if they'll do it, though.
No, they won't do it.
There's too much pride in Xander. It's too much pride in the organization that we have this player that makes all this money. He can't bat 7th.
And that's why I am like, I know that we don't expect him to do much, but he's being put in positions to do stuff. Like he is being asked when he is hitting fifth or cleanup to produce. Even though no one really believes in him right now, he is still being put in those positions to produce. It's like the same thing if I told you, hey, go host, Colin Cowherd's show, right? Like you might not do well or you might not be prepared for it, but you're still expected to go and put on a show. And yeah, you might fail all the time, but you're still being put in those positions. Same thing with Xander. He's being put in those positions. Whether we like it or not, those are spots where you're asked to produce. It's not, you don't see many teams telling their cleanup hitter or five hitter,
just move the runner.
Just move the runner over.
Well, I would say you're right. But let's say he bats 7 tonight. I'll give you a hypothetical. He bats 7 tonight. Do you feel any better if he's 0 for 2 with men in scoring position?
No, I don't feel better whenever Xander is up at the plate with.
But I don't care where he bats. He has to come through in theory. Lead him off. Come through with a hit with men in scoring position. Hit him ninth. Come through with a hit and score. Because no matter where you bat, we say, well, the 4-hole you have to produce is true. But in any one game, the 7-hole could be more valuable or bat with more men in scoring position than the 4-hole hitter.
Jackson Merrill last year hit 7 majority of the season
and he drove in way more runs.
Almost drove in 100 runs.
Exactly. So I'm with you. I think you drop him in the lineup. If truth be told, if they're fully healthy, I'd bet him 8th. They won't because it's Xander Bogaerts. I think that's the only reason they wouldn't do it because it's Xander Bogaerts. Like that's the reason. There's no real reason. Like he's not earning an opportunity to bat higher in the lineup, but I don't think he'll bat 8th.
I mean, we're about to go through the first month of the season.
Yep.
And a little bit of March as well.
Yeah, we're 1 month. They started March 27th. It's over a month in.
No home runs.
No RBIs.
5 RBI. No RBIs for like 3 weeks.
I want to know what he has hit with men in scoring position in his Padres career.
It's been really, really bad.
Like the entirety.
The entirety of
23,
his time, yeah.
24, 25. Someone add that up for me. Is it 200?
And the thing is, like, if you looked at his Boston numbers, they're all really good.
I know, it makes no sense.
And then he comes here and he's just flipped, completely different player.
And don't tell me that's all Fenway. That makes 0 sense. All right, Alan Sliwa on the other side, host of Lakers Talk on YouTube. Will get us ready for Lakers T-Wolves tomorrow and the rest of the Western Conference playoffs and the Padres tonight as well. John and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Discover. Padres and Giants start a quick 2-game series tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres. Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants. Luis Arraez is expected to return from the IL tonight for the Padres. We will see what the lineup looks like in about an hour from now. And NBA playoff action tonight. Couple crucial games, winner go home games. Bucks Pacers tip off at 3 p.m. Pacers looking to close out the Bucks. Knicks Pistons tip off at 4:30 in New York. Celtics Magic in Boston at 5:30. And then the big one tonight, Game 5 with the series tied at 2 games apiece. Nuggets and Clippers tip off in Denver at 7 p.m. Guess what? Discover's accepted a 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. You heard right here, 99%. If you don't think so, maybe it's time to face facts. You're stuck in the past based on the February 2024 Nielsen report. Learn more at discover.com/credit card.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We'll catch up with Alan Sliwa. Lakers talk on YouTube. Coming up momentarily, Dave Fleming, Giants Radio at 3 p.m. We are here until 6. Now, full disclosure, I'm looking at Brent. We've got these new phones, right?
Yeah, we are. When there's new technology in this place, it's always an adventure.
All right, so let's see. This is our first time with the new phones, with a guest.
Is he on?
Alan Sliwa back with us, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Alan, how are you? You can hear us, right?
Yeah, I was for a second. I was like, do I just stay quiet? Do I
you sound
play along
great
with this, but. Yeah, no, I'm in. I hear you guys loud and clear.
You sound terrific. All right, let's. There's a lot to get into. Just NBA playoffs in general, and the Lakers down 3-1, and we want to talk to you about the Padres. What's your messaging? Because you do this each and every day with Lakers fans. What's your message here to people who are like, series is over, down 3-1? I mean, what's the path here? How realistic is it from your seat with where they are right now in this series?
Well, here's the problem. I thought Game 4. They had to have Game 4. And this isn't, by the way, this isn't all just on the Lakers. I know there's a lot of question marks about the Lakers and how do they drop 2 in a row and how did they find themselves down 3-1. The problem in this series is Minnesota is not phased at all. The best player in the series has been Anthony Edwards. The Minnesota Timberwolves have had a lot of issues, at least in the regular season, closing out games. They have had no problem closing out games against the Lakers, at least, games 3 and 4. So I think when you say, what's the message? What do they do from here? Honestly, I think you just can't look past Wednesday. Go win one game at Crypto in front of your audience. Try not to have your season end, obviously in Los Angeles. And see if you could just put a little bit of pressure on Minnesota going into Game 6, because since this series started, Minnesota's been the aggressors. They come out and jump on the Lakers in Game 1. Even Game 2 when the Lakers won, Minnesota really just kind of played one bad quarter, and they follow with Games 3 and 4. So I think the only thing you can really say is just go try to get one game in LA. But this is obviously going to be an incredible challenge.
What did you make of what J.J. Redick did by leaving in all of his starters for the entire half, something that has never been done ever before?
Yeah, I think what you just said is, there's a reason why it's never been done before. In playoff history, no head coach has never made a substitution in the second half. If you want to roll the dice like that, if you want to, clearly tell your entire bench that I have zero confidence in you, that I'm not even going to give LeBron, who's 40 years old, a 2-minute rest, well, then you better win that game. And they didn't win that game. So I think all the scrutiny that's coming with J.J. Redick based on his decision. But, I got to be honest, I don't think it was just that. I think J.J. had some moments on Sunday that were not his finest moments. I think one play that gets overlooked, and I know it kind of sounds funny when I mention this, but challenges are very important. And if you're not strategic with them, you could find yourself at the end of the game complaining that Luka didn't get a foul and Chris Finch having a challenge to use it against when LeBron fouled Anthony Edwards, and we saw the replays that were there. It wasn't just a lack of substitutions, but it was lack of running plays towards the end of the game. And I think the substitutions was just a piece. And clearly that was a wrong move. And he's kind of getting the scrutiny that I think he deserves right now based on it.
Which team is better suited to overcome a 3-1 deficit, the Lakers or the Rockets?
I'd say the Lakers. I think the Rockets have shown that, unfortunately for them, this is not their time, and whatever you do in the regular season is different than what happens in the playoffs. They got a lot of inexperienced players. I mean, I think the good news for the Lakers is you got Luka and LeBron. Houston doesn't. And I know that the Lakers certainly have some holes. I know they're incomplete. I think the competition matters as well. The Warriors got a ton of experience. They're outsmarting the Houston Rockets. They're outcoaching the Houston Rockets. And I would say between those two teams, Lakers would have a better shot. But obviously a mountain to climb for both of the teams.
Luka is obviously offensively one of, if not the best players in the world. You obviously see on the defensive end where it is a big problem. How much of a concern is that going forward defensively for Luka? Something that, was not really talked about a lot after the big trade, because everyone's like, why'd you trade Luka? But that's what Nico Harrison was trying to tell everybody. Is defensively, we're trying to get better defensively, and not really trying to throw Luka under the bus there. But still, it's defensively is a big issue with Luka. How much has it played a factor in this series for you?
I think I think this series and I think this year, it's probably going to be most exposed right now. But once the Lakers do get to the offseason, then they're going to do what their ultimate goal was. I think people are forgetting here. And by the way, I picked the Lakers to win the series. So I'm not saying that what we're watching was predicted. It wasn't predicted from me. I thought Lakers would win in 6. Mm-hmm. But I think the fact that they will get an offseason to address the roster, this is the most he's going to get exposed, because eventually they're going to have big men. Eventually they're not going to have a lineup that your 6'8", 6'9" guys are the biggest guys that you have. You heard Jaden McDaniels after game 1 say something to the effect of I realized when they went away from Jackson Hayes, who they've used barely at any part this series. He's like, I'm arguably the tallest guy on the floor, so I could just go to the basket. I think what you're seeing right now from Luka also just kind of shows this roster is not, it was get Luka and then figure everything else out. That's what the Lakers did. And I think they will figure it out come the offseason. And clearly the Minnesota Timberwolves have a complete team, or a much more complete team than the Lakers do. And they'll have a lot of work to do in the offseason to not make that obviously such a storyline.
Alan Sliwa with us right now. Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa on YouTube as well. Now, I know you're a lifelong Padres fan, and you look up their 17-11. That's good, but the way they've played here over the last 10 or 11 games has not been. They're 3-8 in their last 11. They're dealing with injuries. They've lost 4 straight. Is there any blame game for you? Are you pointing it in any direction for the way they're playing, or do you just think that this is a part of 162?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think if they were healthy and they were playing as bad as they have been, then, just using as an example, let's just say their lineup, Merrill is there and Luis Arraez is there. And even guys, I know use Cronenworth that example, but Jason Hayward, if they had all their guys and they were going through this stretch right now, then I'd be a lot more concerned. Here's the reality. And I think you said it, John, right in the beginning. If you'd have told me they're 17-11 to start off this season, I would have taken it. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I would have taken it. There is a justification to why they've gone on this stretch. I know it's a really bad stretch, but when the dust settles here, start getting some of your players back. Stay in the mix as long as you can here with, I know San Francisco is a little bit of a surprise. You assume Arizona is going to play better. Obviously, the Dodgers are kind of in a class of their own. I don't think the sky is falling maybe as much as other people do. It's been a bad stretch, but I think it's justified why their offense has been so bad. Obviously, you're clearly missing some important pieces. And don't get me wrong, there's frustrations. You go look at some of these players here, the Xander Bogaerts of the world, of course, that's incredibly frustrating. But I'm okay with where they are, just simply for the fact that I know they're missing a lot of their main pieces. And I don't really think they have much margin for error. They don't have crazy depth. They need all these guys.
Well, good news. Luis Arraez officially is back in the lineup tonight for the Padres. So get some of these pieces back here sooner rather than later. Final one for me, Alan. Back to the NBA real quick. Does it feel like a collision course between the Thunder and the Cavs here?
No, not for me. Okay. I will still take Boston until somebody takes them out. Cleveland was obviously historic in some of their blowups they had against Miami. But I still think Boston's the best team in the NBA. I still think they're the most talented team in the NBA. They're the most tested in the NBA. And until somebody takes them out, I'm assuming that they're healthy. I take Boston coming out of the East. And frankly, even the Oklahoma City Thunder, I still think there's some tests for them in the West. And whether that's the Golden State Warriors, probably the Warriors would test them the most. Clearly, Minnesota's playing phenomenal basketball right now, too. I don't think it's a collision course. I think especially in the East, to me, it's not a collision course. I need to see Cleveland take out Boston before I give them all that praise.
And you made that point where it's like there's such a big difference between the regular season and the postseason. Yeah, the Thunder were 16 games better than everyone. And yeah, their margins were crazy this year. And yeah, the Warriors were 20 games worse than the Thunder. But is that going to matter? I mean, the Warriors have all the experience. Yeah, the Warriors have the experience. They've been there before, and the Thunder would have to go through them to potentially advance this postseason.
The postseason has been fantastic by far.
It has.
So
and last night was terrific. That Warriors game last night was absolutely terrific.
Well, I like the way they have also, I don't know how much you guys have noticed this as well. They're letting them play. You know, there's something happening here in the playoffs, which I think the NBA, which has not got that many compliments over the last couple of years, I feel like there's a lot of compliments towards the NBA of they're not over officiating. They're letting these guys play a little physical. Kind of reminds me a little bit of an old school basketball. And I think that's what the consumers want. The only thing that I would recommend is, can we stop having that 2-minute report from the referees after? There's just, to say that, hey, we screwed that one up. I don't know what benefit that does to anybody, but obviously we keep seeing that.
Right. No doubt about it. Alan, we appreciate you taking time for us. Hope all is well, and we'll catch up again soon, all right?
All right, sounds good, boys. Thank you.
Great stuff from Alan Sliwa, Hoops Talk with Alan Sliwa on YouTube. We'll react to this Padres lineup. There are a number of changes, plus potentially a change within the Padres roster as well. We'll share those with you on the other side. Dave Fleming, Giants Radio, will join us at 3 p.m. John and Jim.
right, so Padres back in action tonight at 6:40. Dave Fleming expected to join us at 3 p.m. Longtime radio broadcaster for the San Francisco Giants. And we do have that Padres lineup, Jim, that is out. We're also learning at this hour that Yuli Gurriel is no longer in the clubhouse.
Good.
Nor his stuff.
Good.
So presumably he's either, I don't even know what the options are. Is Yuli Gurriel a 50-year-old going to AAA? I would assume he's just gone, but who knows?
There's no point keeping.
Where's he going to go? So Yuli Gurriel no longer with the team reportedly. What does the lineup look like as both Luis Arraez and Jason Hayward are going to be activated tonight?
They are. Jason Hayward is in the lineup tonight. So is Luis Arraez. This is the lineup. Tatis leading off. Arraez hitting second. Manny's hitting third. I keep saying Xander Sheets.
Xander Sheets.
Gavin Sheets.
You get the best of both.
Oh, not really a bunch of best there. Gavin Sheets is hitting cleanup. Xander Bogaerts is hitting fifth. Why?
Move him back.
Why? Jose Iglesias is hitting sixth. Tyler Wade's in center hitting seventh. Jason Hayward hitting eighth. And Elias Diaz hitting ninth.
In terms of the lineup, I'm with you in terms of probably Iglesias being in front of Bogaerts. If that entire lineup was the same and the flip was Iglesias fifth, Bogaerts sixth, I can live with it.
Yeah, it's
not the end of the world.
Still not a great lineup because you still are missing.
Hayward.
Yeah, Wade's in there. Wade is not a everyday center fielder. He's just not. Even though he's been holding his weight for his talent. Like he is still not an everyday player.
Well, you're still two primary pieces away, even with this lineup, obviously with Jackson Merrill, the number one, and then Jake Cronenworth, who's going to play and was off to a decent start. So you've gotten kind of half of the pieces back. I mean, Hayward is obviously the bottom of the list there, but it looks better than it looked 2 days ago.
It did.
The lineup
It does look better than it did 2 days ago. Now, I will say this. Eventually, and I know AJ Preller's already probably talked about it and he's thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have to address the catching situation.
Yeah, but you're saying, well, I would say both offensively and defensively. Offensively, we knew they'd be anemic.
Just the catching situation.
But they're not helping the cause, like in terms of like shutting down the run game, wild pitches, pass balls. It's left a lot to be desired.
They're awful.
They're not great.
They are awful. And again, maybe you can deal with it if you're fully healthy. Okay, I get it. They were 14-3 with those two guys in the lineup.
True.
And at the end of the day, it's like, well, they're a 9-hitter, like whatever.
Right.
But you're still going to have to try to at least upgrade that position to just have that position be a negative for you all year. I mean, you're rolling out a lineup that should be 9 players and it's really 8 because the catching position is a black hole.
And what happened to the Mike Schilt? He sold us on, well, we're getting some of the best defensive backstops in baseball history.
No.
Right? We're getting elite defense from someone like Martin Maldonado, who just looks old. And Elias Diaz, now you brought up a good point. If not for his one swing, wherever the hell that was, in the 2-0 game.
6 straight. No, 5 straight? Yeah, 5 straight.
No, it'd be 6 because they lost the game before that win.
I thought they won on. Oh, they did.
But
lose.
it was
right.
loss, win, 4 losses.
Would have been 6 straight losses, 2 straight sweeps.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise you're in a scoreless game. So I don't know if you would have won that game or not. So you're right, though. I mean, on the whole, Diaz Maldonado has been problematic. I'm more concerned right now with Arraez, Merrill, Cronenworth, Hayward, and deal with that to come. But you're right. It's a problem.
Like, listen to these numbers here. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Martin Maldonado, he's got a 506 OPS.
Okay.
All right. He's hitting 209. For him, that's actually probably an improvement. It's actually decent.
He's hit under 200 for like 4 straight years.
Elias Diaz is even worse.
What's he hitting? He's not hitting 200, is he?
He's hitting 167. And he has that one fluke home run in Detroit.
It's an important one.
It was very an important one. I mean, he should have a 1 WAR because that literally won them the game.
Basically, yeah.
536 OPS.
So their catchers have combined for a 515 OPS.
Yeah.
In a month.
Right.
So 1/6 of the season, you've got nothing from your catchers.
Like literally nothing offensively.
And it doesn't scream like, well, they're about to come to life offensively.
And even defensively, they had some nice plays, but come on.
No, recently it's been bad. There have been some really bad games. I think Maldonado specifically, there was a game where he had 2. He's had some just bad miscues that like
He just hasn't looked right. He really hasn't. He looks old.
How many times this year, with both of them, have they just dropped fastballs?
That's what I'm saying.
Down the middle.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, your job is to catch the baseball. Your position is called catcher. You're supposed to catch the ball thrown to you. And there are some times this year where I'm like, are they okay?
Well, do you want some good news? Because I'll give it to you. The good news is, it's not that good. And if the chat is correct, against Logan Webb, Elias Diaz is 1 for 22 lifetime. So who knows what Martín Maldonado is? Maybe he's worse.
Wait,
I'm kidding. It's not good. Okay. It's probably better than his season average, 1 for 22.
It's like they have no good option there.
Here's their good option tonight, Nick Pivetta.
That is
like
right.
You go shove, which is who he has been. He is absolutely shoved, and he's been incredible at home. But he's facing a guy in Logan Webb that's got a 2 ERA as well. So you got a guy with a 1 ERA against a guy with a 2 ERA. What is the total on tonight's game? 3.5 runs? Like, seriously, what is the total? How many runs are going to be scored in this game tonight at Petco Park? Get there for the Tony Gwynn bobblehead. All right, make it because that I can guarantee you will be a good experience tonight. I just don't know how much offense we're going to see tonight in this game.
Interesting, John. The total on the game is 6.5.
Seems high to me.
Why?
Yeah, it seems high, right?
How?
So that means predicting 4-2. You win on an under at 4-2. Whoever wins the game, if it's 4-2, you win on the under. 4-2 seems high to me.
I think that's very high.
This game's going to be 2-0. Watch me say that. 7 runs in the first half.
It's 9-7.
Right.
It's a 9-7 game.
No, I don't see it. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Xander
that's how they got to win.
Going to hit 2 home runs.
Please. Will he do it before May?
Do something! Something.
There's going to be a night. It's coming.
Do
I don't know if it's tonight against Webb.
Do something.
Please, like that. Be
impactful.
Because I don't care, but I cared. I wasted a whole commercial break to look up what he's hit with men in scoring position as a Padre in 3 years.
And Steven in our chat also put these numbers in as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I just looked it up. I didn't look at the chat. I apologize, Steven. He's hit 213, which seems high to me. He's hit 213 as a Padre with men in scoring position, which obviously is a failure when you bat in the middle of the lineup. I forgot in 2023, Jim, he hit 192 with men in scoring position for the season. And that was his big year, right? The big April, the big September.
He had a great year that year.
He's at 213 as a Padre with men in scoring position. Maybe that trend is bucked. I said bucked tonight. All right. On the other side, Dave Fleming, Giants Radio. He's been doing it a long time. Giants have played some of the best baseball in the sport. They had their first off day yesterday after, they played 17 consecutive days. Padres have had 17 off days. The Giants just played a stretch of 17 consecutive days.
And they're playing really well.
And they've played really well. We'll catch up with Dave Fleming on the other side. Dave Velasquez, San Diego State longtime men's basketball assistant at 3:30. Coming up at 4:30, John Canzano on the Pac-12. Don't go anywhere. Hour 2 of John and Jim. That comes your way next.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. Padres and Giants start a two-game series tonight at Petco Park. 6:40 first pitch. Luis Arraez is back in tonight's lineup, hitting second for the Padres. Jason Hayward also back in the lineup tonight for the Padres. And Yuli Gurriel, he looks like he's been DFA'd. He has cleaned out his locker at Petco Park. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Logan Webb for the Giants. And then moving over to the NBA tonight, bunch of important games. Game 5s, Pacers and Bucks, 3 p.m. tip-off time there. Pacers looking to advance and close out the Bucks. Same thing with the Knicks as they have a 3-1 series lead over the Pistons, tipped off at 4:30. Celtics and Magic. Celtics looking to close out the Magic with a 3-1 series lead there. Tip-off is at 5:30. And then Nuggets and Clippers, a crucial game 5 with that series tied at 2 games apiece, tips off at 7 p.m. in Denver. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
Previously on John and Jim.
So Shaq's got money, but imagine you're recruiting. It's Sac State and Utah State for a player. You're down to those two, and you get a call from Shaq.
How much money do you want? You want a pizza? I'll give you a shakaroni. Okay.
That's exactly
what else do you need? You want another car? Okay. We want some new clothes? Okay, I got you.
You're gonna love Shakir.
Yeah, Shakir. He's on the team. My main man, Mike Bibby. He's the coach. I love it.
Now, time for John and Jim.
All right, hour 2, John and Jim. Game 1 of this quick 2-game series between the Padres and the Giants down at Petco coming up at 6:40. And it's our pleasure to have Dave Fleming with us right now, longtime radio broadcaster for the San Francisco Giants on John and Jim San Diego Sports 760. So, Dave, we appreciate you taking some time. And we know that the Giants have gotten off to this really good start. I didn't realize that they had played 17 consecutive days. That, to me, makes it even more impressive. The Padres have had so many off days. I know the Giants were off yesterday, but what can you say about not just the Giants' play, but doing it where in April, oftentimes you have all these off days. The Giants haven't had that advantage so far this year.
Yeah, 17 days in a row in April is a formula for disaster because your starters aren't built up. You end up leaning hard on your bullpen. You can shoot through your bullpen. By the end of that stretch, you can be out of arms and scrambling, and instead kind of the opposite happened. Giant starters were really good. They have 2 guys who can be long men, and Bob Melvin managed his way through the 2 weeks plus, and there was no stress, undue stress on the bullpen. It was pretty remarkable, and they played almost all good teams. I mean, the Padres have had a pretty tough schedule too, I would say, but I mean, the Giants have played the Reds, the Mariners, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Rangers. They've played first place kind of teams almost all the way through and done pretty darn well. So it's been a very good first month.
Jung-Hoo Lee has broken out so far early on this season, hitting .324 on the year. He got injured last year, but how good has he been this season for the Giants and hitting in the middle of the lineup?
Yeah, he's been for real. He's really a talented guy. And we got robbed of seeing him. And more importantly for him, like he got robbed of his first year of experience and learning pitchers and learning ballparks. So he's still doing that, which makes it even more remarkable. He's doing as well as he is because he's seeing almost every pitcher that he faces, he's seeing for the first time. And that is an advantage for the pitcher. Typically, Jung-Hoo is stronger, more physical than he looks. He's got the ability to impact the ball. He's not just a little slap hitter. He's got, he's top 5, I think, in all of baseball in extra base hits. He's played really well in center field. It's too early to say. It's 250 big league at bats or something like that. It's not, it's way early in his career, but the Giants truly may have gotten a real impact guy in Jung-Hoo Lee. Fans love him. He's become a immediate fan favorite. So he brings a lot of energy every day. He's just been really, really good.
Dave Fleming with us right now, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 off the call tonight for the Giants here in San Diego. Obviously, Logan Webb tonight, he's been good for years at this point, but it almost looks like, and I know it's early, he's been better than Logan Webb has been previously, and the strikeout numbers are up. What has led to, I mean, again, he's been so good, but it seems like his numbers are maybe even better this year than they've been in the past.
Yeah, he's definitely different because of the strikeout numbers.
Yeah.
He's never been a high. He's been one of the best pitchers in the game for a long time without following the modern trend of piling up strikeouts. What's been different? Well, I would say a couple things. Number one, he has added to his repertoire. It used to be sinker, slider, changeup, and the slider and changeup were going in different directions, so they really complemented each other, but it was a three-pitch mix. He's throwing a cutter now, and he's throwing a four-seam fastball up. And it's not like those are his best pitches, but I think he's less predictable than he has been.
I think we just lost the call there.
Oh, they just cut off Dave Fleming. Anyway, good job. Great answer, Dave.
It was very good.
It was a very good answer.
I'm going to blame Dave's phone.
No, I'm not going to blame Dave's phone.
I'm kidding.
I'm not going to blame his phone. Yeah.
All right, we're going to get him back connected, hopefully. Like I said,
When you have new technology.
when you have day one of new phones,
yes.
this is like playing without Merrill and Arraez. Okay.
No,
When you have day one of new phones, you expect there to be a little bit of a
right, a little bit of a learning process.
He was just about to say, and the thing about Logan Webb
is, and then that. Yeah. So
all right,
we'll get him back.
We're gonna get him back here momentarily. It happens. It's live radio. Sorry about that, Dave. We've got brand new phones, but you were wrapping up on Logan Webb and just those strikeout numbers being up. Just the fact that he's added to his pitch, the pitch mix, right? He's got 4 or 5 pitches now that he's been relying on.
A little less predictable and a little less reliant on getting the ground balls. And he's been so dominant, your phone didn't even want me talking about it. That's how good he's been.
Yeah. They were like, don't tell Padres fans about Logan Webb. You're going to see him later tonight. The changing of the guard in San Francisco from Farhan to Buster now. What have you noticed early on in the Buster regime that's, different from the Farhan regime, which was more analytic driven, a lot of players in and out of the lineup, different matchup style of lineups to more now, maybe more traditional baseball lineups with this team?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things come to mind. I would say the thing that has been most obvious and sort of most startling, the Giants have made one transaction this year. Part of that is they've stayed healthy. So that will change as guys get hurt, which inevitably will happen. San Diego Kids, Casey Schmidt is the only guy. He was on the opening day roster and was helping them against lefties, and he tweaked an oblique and went on the injured list. And that is the only move the Giants have made off their opening day roster in the first month, which, I mean, I haven't gone back and counted it, but I bet by this time last year, they'd made 25 moves. So I think one of Buster's tenets among several is you can't expect a team to be a team. You can't expect a group to have sort of chemistry and a bond and an attitude of being selfless and helping each other out, whether that's in an at bat or whatever it is, if you don't let your group stay together. So I think that is a part of Buster's philosophy of team building. You're seeing fewer pinch hit at bats. They're sticking with that. Part of that is just the way this roster is built, but they're sticking with left on left in the late innings. They're not necessarily always going to pinch hitters. If Wilmer has a day off, if Bailey, the catcher, has a day off, they'll use those guys as pinch hitters, but they haven't used many pinch hitters. The big picture stuff that's changed is a true emphasis, and I think it's been remarkable. The Giants talked about it all spring. They continue to talk about it, and it's evidence to me of if you really, truly emphasize something and back up your words with actions, you can get results based on like what you say is important becomes important. And the Giants have placed huge importance on base running. They're way better as a base running team. They place big importance on defense. They're a better defensive team. So the things that they have talked about and emphasized have come to fruition this first month. We'll see how long it lasts, but it's been fun to watch.
That's really good insight. Dave Fleming with us, Giants Radio right now, John and Jim. What about Willie Adames? The Giants have gotten off to this great start, and Adames, you look at the numbers, obviously they haven't been up to his standard. He signs this huge deal. What's this first month been like for him in a Giants uniform?
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. He better be.
Yeah.
He hasn't been great. I think we saw this with Chapman last year. First month, new contract, new team. There are a bunch of pressures. There's an adjustment period. And I think he's gone through that. A lot of good signs lately of better at bats, taking a few more walks, not chasing as much as in the first few weeks of the year. I do think, look, Oracle Park in San Francisco, he does have power to right center, and those are going to be hard to come up with at home. And so to me, he looks a little pull happy right now. Maybe trying to hit the ball over the wall at home where you can't do it to right center field. Be interesting to come on the road for these 2 days and see if that approach pays dividends, where maybe he goes back to right center field a little more frequently. I think he's going to be just fine. He is a incredible personality. I mean, you guys have seen that in the past, not often with the Brewers, but you just see it, as a baseball fan, and it's really true. Like he is beloved already by his teammates, total Mr. Positive, no matter what his numbers look like, every day, same energy, same enthusiasm. So I give him a lot of credit for that. I mean, it's not just Adames. Patrick Bailey's offense has been way, way down. Lamont Wade Jr. has really struggled at first base. So the Giants, from 3 different positions on the diamond, just aren't getting much offense at all. And they're still in first place and still have had a nice month. So I'm assuming that all 3 of those guys at some point here are going to get back to kind of their normal selves.
Bob Melvin, year 2 with the Giants now. We obviously know him well here in San Diego. Does he look a little more comfortable in year 2, in your opinion, compared to last year, or any changes from Bob from last year to this year that you've seen?
I think so. I mean, I think he's got the staff that he likes, which he had mostly last year, but I think, maybe a couple tweaks have helped him on that front. I think he's more comfortable with the personnel group this year. In a weird way, I think Bob kind of likes teams that aren't, I don't want to say aren't full of stars, but I think he likes to manage a team that has a real team approach. I think he really enjoys that part of the game. And so I think this roster matches the way he sort of likes to have it set up. So yeah, I think he's a little more comfortable with the Giants in year 2. It's hard coming to a place, and this is no knock on the Padres or the A's, where he had such a great run, or even Seattle and Arizona. But he grew up in the Bay Area. He grew up a massive Giants fan. He grew up watching Willie Mays and Willie McCovey and Juan Marichal, and he dreamed from the time he was a little kid of being a Giant as a player, a manager, whatever. And I think when he got that job last year, he put a lot of pressure on himself in that role for the first time. And I think this year now he's the Giants manager. Everybody knows it, and he's doing a good job.
Dave, final one for me would just be about the way the Giants are winning some of these games. Like when you see something play out, like what played out, I think it was Sunday.
Little League home run.
When you win on a Little League home run, do you just start to say, hey, maybe this is going to be one of those years? Or how do you look at it, the way they've won some of these games?
Yeah, I think you do get a sense, and a team can build some momentum of like, hey, this is a special group or a special year, and you start to kind of believe that, and it gives you a little more bounce or a little more confidence going out there night to night. The other thing I think is when you don't beat yourself with mistakes, when you basically, what the Giants' philosophy in a lot of ways right now is don't beat ourselves. The opponent, if we put enough pressure on and don't give openings, the opponent will make mistakes and we can take advantage of those. And then the bullpen's been outstanding. So the Giants have been able to stay in games even when they fall behind. They've done an excellent job of they've had one blowout loss the entire year. And otherwise they're in every single game. And the bullpen just gives them a chance to where late, every once in a while, Little League home run, whatever it is, they've just given themselves an opportunity game in and game out. And the bullpen has a lot to do with that. And I think if you looked back in history and said, gosh, the teams that win close games or the teams that find ways to win or exceed expectations, I think a lot of times a bullpen has a lot to do with it. Just for that reason, where you don't fall out of games, and it's like the odds just say that if you do that game after game after game, stuff starts to bounce your way.
We're going to see two really good ones over the next 2 days with the Giants and the Padres. Dave, appreciate you taking time for us here in San Diego. Have a good couple of days here in America's finest city, and thanks for the time.
Thanks, Dave.
I think it'll be a big time atmosphere inside there. These are important games. Weirdness of the Giants is these are the first two division games of the year for the Giants, so they haven't played in the NL West until tonight. So I'm looking forward to it.
That is bizarre. Padres just 3 games so far, and against the Rockies.
Yeah.
Dave, thank you. Have great calls. All right. All right, Dave Fleming again with the Giants. We'll react to that on the other side. Plus at 3:30, Dave Velasquez, San Diego State longtime men's basketball assistant. All the newcomers on the Mesa. The transfer portal has closed. We'll catch up with Dave Velasquez at 3:30. John and Jim.
So I have to say, John, we have gone an hour and 20 minutes into today's show.
Right. Talked about the phones.
How have not one time you've mentioned
Pac-12?
Pac-12 media rights deal? How have you not mentioned that one time?
Well, we're going to talk to John Canzano, and by we
mean you.
I will talk to John Canzano, johncanzano.com at 4:30.
How have you not mentioned
I don't know
that?
because I don't know.
Are you?
I mean, I don't think the listeners are overly worried about 2025. So what happened today was the Pac-12 announced this year with Oregon State, Washington State, they'll play games on CBS, ESPN, and the CW. Okay, but that's not the 2026 when San Diego State's in the league. That still has to be finalized. I'm putting 2 and 2 together and thinking, hey, CBS and ESPN have a good shot of being broadcast teams. Yeah, being the rights holders for the Pac-12 in 2026 and beyond. I don't know if that's the case or not, but I do think it's a good sign that the deal they announced today, 2 games are on ESPN, like Pac-12 After Dark stuff.
Yeah.
And then two games are on CBS, like 8 p.m. Eastern games. And then the other 9 are on the CW. And no matter what you think about that, it's available everywhere. Everyone has the CW, including here in San Diego. So we'll talk to John Canzano.
We'll talk to John Canzano.
We'll talk to John Canzano at 4:30. The reason I haven't brought it up is I'll bring it up at 4:30 with Canzano.
Now, this got announced very early this morning.
6 a.m. Pacific. I didn't see it when it was announced. I had gotten an email actually from, I think it's Darren's buddy who's kind of become our buddy Josh Issue.
Oh, yeah.
Are you not on the list?
I'm not on the list.
Yeah, I got
so
this.
He's not my buddy.
Look at this. You should probably get on the list.
I love Josh.
Look
at this. I'm not on the list.
Look at this email I got.
Hold on.
Very official on Pac-12 letterhead. Look how long that is. Can you scroll through the whole thing? Look at that.
Goodness.
They put out 3,000 words on this TV deal, but then they include the newcomers from the Mountain West. And they talk about the successes and they talk about adding an 8th member. This the longest email ever. But that's how I found out. Not on social media. Via my email because I got it at 6 a.m.
Why does Josh Issue hate me?
You should email him. Text him.
I'm okay if I'm not on the initial
actually, do you want to be in the
media?
That means you get
deal.
You get the men's tennis releases. Yeah. You get the rowing releases.
Do I? Do you?
No, I don't. This is the first release I've done.
I would probably get the rowing and tennis.
Probably.
Whatever else there is. But
Dave Velasquez, San Diego State men's basketball will join us in 7 minutes. I did want to say, after talking with Dave Fleming right there, I've become more kind of hyped for these 2 games because it's in division. The Giants bullpen he was talking about has been really good. The Padres bullpen's been really good. Both teams have gotten off to good starts. Yes, the Padres haven't played as well here recently, but you look at the records of these 2 teams, they're both playing .600 baseball right now. So I'm excited for these next 2 games coming up beginning tonight.
You can be that person that says it's April 29th.
Yep.
It's very early. Or you could be the person, which I am that person of these are important games. Even Dave said it there. These are important games because the way this thing is looking, the way this thing is going, Dodgers, Padres, Giants, D-backs, it's going to be a dogfight in the National League West. So whenever you are facing another team in the National League West, one of the other 3 teams that I mentioned, you got to show up and perform because going down the stretch here in this season, we're a ways away from that, obviously. But when we get there, at this point in time, if you told me that all 4 teams are still in the mix by middle of August, I would absolutely believe you because they all look the part right now. Arizona with their offense, they still have Corbin Burns. They're going to be good. Giants have been a surprise, but as Dave said, they are playing like a team, and with Bob Melvin, when he's managing a team that's not full of superstars, he has shown that he can, win a bunch of ball games. Padres, when they're healthy, have shown they're one of the best teams in baseball. Dodgers are the Dodgers. So this series, even though it's a 2-game series, it's still important.
Yeah, I agree. No, I'm not going to discount it at all.
No, no way.
If they win 2, amazing. If they lose 2, sky is falling because you would have lost 6 consecutive games. A split's a split, and it's kissing your sister. You move on from it. Did you have a sister? No.
No, John.
Do I have a sister? No. But you could imagine. It's it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Right. So again, I can live with a split here. I'm not going to go crazy
No.
if they split these 2 games against a really good team. But the way they play at home, maybe they can find a way to recapture that over these next 2 days.
And if you're, the Padres, if you're saying, all right, get a split here, move on the road trip, I would like them to win tonight, please.
Yeah, you don't want to lose 5 straight.
Losing. Well, they lost 5 straight as you said the other day.
Maybe they do want to lose 5 straight.
Then 93 wins later. But beating a good pitcher in Logan Webb tonight would be nice.
Would be
for the Padres.
That would be a pretty significant win, truthfully, just beating Logan Webb. The way the Giants have played. Now you got Pivetta, who's been Logan Webb so far this year.
So you got one of your best up against their best tonight. You got a couple pieces back in your lineup. Not everybody, Jason Hayward, whatever, but at least Luis Arraez is in there. So, putting up 3 runs tonight, if you do that somehow, you're going to have to make that stick.
Get there at 6:40. This game will be over at 8:35. All right, Padres and Giants coming up tonight at 6:40. We'll get back to it. On the other side, Dave Velasquez on the transfer portal success of San Diego State men's basketball. Longtime assistant coach will join us next.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. Padres, they are back in action tonight against the Giants. 6:40 first pitch. Some reinforcements in the lineup. Luis Arraez will be in the line tonight, hitting second. Jason Hayward also in the lineup as well. Yuli Gurriel cleaned out his locker at Petco Park. He is going to be DFA'd by the Padres. Moving over to NBA action tonight. Couple win or go home games. First up, we have Milwaukee against Indiana. Indiana leads that series 3-1, but right now they're trailing Milwaukee 25-11 with 1:49 left in the first quarter there. Knicks Pistons tip off at 4:30. Knicks have a 3-1 series lead. Celtics and Magic tip off at 5:30. Celtics looking to close out the Magic there. And the Nuggets and Clippers, that series is tied at 2 games apiece, tips off at 7 p.m. in Denver. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
All right, let's talk some Aztec hoops. It's never too early to do that. It's become basically a 365-day endeavor when you're coaching, like Dave Velasquez is, longtime San Diego State assistant. Back with us right now, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Dave, first of all, great seeing you this past weekend. The banquet downtown, terrific event. Have some of the best words in coaching become the transfer portal is closed? Because you guys retained your roster, the portal is closed. Are you sleeping easier now?
You have no idea. I don't think our fans really have any idea on what that month is like. And, it even starts a little bit before even the season ends, when you start to have conversations or you start to hear things. And, one of the things that I think fans don't really quite understand, and I'm not sure how as much as the media does, but everyone in the business understands, just because you're not in the portal doesn't mean you're not being talked about with other teams, whether it's an agent, whether it's somebody, I mean, that's just the nature of college athletics right now. And just to fight that and really end up where we ended up in today's climate, it was what I'm calling it right now, a modern day miracle. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, we had so much support internally from not just from former players, from our current players to keep this team together. Obviously, our staff did a great job, unbelievable job. But to really have the support from the families that are part of this program, to trust us, to come back for one more season, when all of them, every player has the opportunity to leave, and for them to all come back in today's climate where, we returned so much after losing so much the year before. And we're just excited to see the growth and to finally, it's a lot of work we put in with a lot of these young guys, having 3 freshmen, 3 sophomores out of the, 8 or 9 rotational guys we played. I mean, it was a year that we were very much looking forward to getting to the next year, and we're getting here now.
So Magoon returns, which is awesome news. But on the flip side, he does have to have knee surgery. So how is Magoon doing? And then just looking at the bigger picture here, how significant is for you guys to know, like, officially Magoon is returning and he will not enter the NBA draft?
It's incredibly significant. You're talking about a freshman of the year, defensive player of the year in this league. I just saw him today. We had workouts today. He was there doing his rehab. He looks great. He's in great spirits. He's able to get around the class already. So he's doing really well. His spirits are incredibly high, like I said. And, the biggest thing with Magoon is this is going to be, an opportunity for him to really take care of this injury, and where he can just start to really, when he comes back, to be at full health and focus on all the things he learned from this past year. And he was getting so much better. He really caught his groove right there when he got hurt at that Utah State game. He was playing the best basketball he had played his freshman year. And so we're very, very excited. So it's a massive, massive get for us to have him come back. And for him, again, like I said, to trust us and to trust his team that this is the best place for him to make his NBA dreams come true. And for us to also, go back to a Final Four and win a national championship.
With the injury, does it I'm not going to say hurt his development, but it slows it down a little bit as far as, having a full off season where he can improve off of the things that he needed to improve off of after year one? Is there any concern there?
No, I don't think. I mean, of course, you would rather have him healthy. You'd rather have all your guys healthy, of course. But yeah, I mean, to say that there's not a real concern in terms of it's obviously not going to speed up his development, but there's things we can do when he's out, and he won't, after this first month, he'll be able to move around a little bit. It's really,
the long process to get a guy back to being able to play in a full game, you know, but to start moving around and go through some things. I mean, he'll be able to do that here sometime. I mean, you know, I'm not exactly sure the exact timeline. All this stuff is going to be on how the rehab goes and how everything is going, but we're not expecting him to be laid up on a training table for 6 months either. So it should be, should be for Magoon to be back for the ready. He'll be back playing in the beginning of the season, but before that, it's not like, okay, we're just going to, you know, get him off the training table and throw him in a game. I mean, there's going to be months and months of stuff that we're going to do with him on the floor before that.
That's good news.
Yeah, we're looking forward to, of course, seeing Magoon hopefully back and ready for San Diego State's opener this November. Dave Velasquez, San Diego State assistant coach, with us right now on John and Jim. Can you speak to some of the goals you had in the portal when it came to additions? Because you had so much success there as well. Sean Newman Jr., what he did last year in terms of assists per game, the way he's grown his game. Jeremiah Oden, Aztec fans have seen previously in the Mountain West of Wyoming. Latrell Davis, Aztec fans have seen. I mean, we saw it firsthand, Latrell Davis this past season while with San Jose State. So can you just touch on those additions and what they hopefully add to your roster moving forward?
Yeah, Latrell is the one that I think our Aztec fans will be probably most familiar with. I mean, I think he averaged somewhere between 22, 23 points a game against us this year, hit 5 threes against us at Viejas. So he's a guy that you know, that we need, you know, we expect him to come in here and do what he did at San Jose State, but at the same time, grow his game, you know, catch up to how good we are defensively. And he has the body for it. He has the mindset for it. And his character's through the roof. He wants to get better. He's a younger sophomore. So he's a guy that's got a lot of growth in front of him. So we're excited about what he can do, especially in terms of his offensive talents. It's not just shooting the ball. When he gets downhill, he's really hard to stop, and we had to deal with that ourselves. And then the Jeremiah Oden, he's like a prototypical San Diego State guy. If you were to walk into a gym and say, what does an Aztec look like? I mean, he's the type of guy. He's an unbelievable athlete. He's long, guards multiple positions. He's incredible on a fast break. He can shoot the ball. And to me, Jeremiah's one of those guys. This past year he was hurt, but we really liked Jeremiah when we played against him in Wyoming, and then when he got into Portland that first time. So it's something we're very familiar with, and we're excited to get him here. And then Sean Newman's, you know, he's a guy that you get a third assist leader in the country. You know, I think as much as the coaches are excited, I think the players are excited. You know, it just makes everybody else around you better. You know, you got a guy like Reese Waters who's coming back, who's just an outstanding wing. You know, we'll see what happens with Miles Bird, but let's say he comes back. You got him on the other wing. You got Reese Waters on another wing. You're playing with guys like Taj and on and on and on throughout the whole roster. BJ, everybody. I mean, we have so many guys, and a lot of those guys is, you know, strength is finding ways to score the ball. They can do a lot of things, and Sean's just going to make their game better, but at the same time a lot easier. So the game's going to be a lot easier for them, and then obviously the bigs love it because they got a guy that can throw them lobs. They got guys that will drop off early to them. So he looks for the bigs, and you know, Sean's just such a gifted passer. And you know, the one thing about, to go back on what I was saying earlier, I mean, the character of those 3 guys that we brought in is so high, and it's going to really mesh well with the guys we have. Their families are outstanding, unbelievable support from them. Not looking for the biggest dollars, just wanting to go to the right situation, wanting to be somewhere that they know they're going to be treated right with. You know, and also at the same time be pushed, be held accountable, and expect to win. And so, you know, again, it's not just the players that make these decisions that come to San Diego State, it's everyone around them, and could not be more thankful to our current guys for making the decision, but also the new guys coming in.
What about the freshmen that you guys are bringing in here? Some pretty highly sought after players coming here to San Diego State.
Yeah, I mean, likewise with them. I mean, incredible families and great people, unbelievable in the classroom. And just awesome players. I mean, Tay Simmons, if you had to say on the AAU circuit last year before, I mean, he plays so hard. You know, they always talk about, you know, motors of skill. I mean, Tay's motor is unbelievable. He plays every possession incredibly hard. He hits the offensive glass every single shot. He can score on you from multiple positions, multiple spots on the floor. I'm sorry. And, you know, one of the things that Tay can bring to us is also just like an energy that you can rely on every single day, just a consistent energy, which is going to be huge for us, especially with the young guy. You know, the growth will be there because he'll come ready to go every day. And then with Elsie Harrington, we got lucky to get him as well. You know, the whole situation, unfortunately, with his father that I'm sure you guys have read, his father's not doing well. He wanted to stay close to home. And he came here to us, and he's a stud player. I mean, he's a guy, when you guys see him in person, he's a lot taller than it looks on film. He can do a lot of things. He shoots the ball really well. He passes really well. He's one of those guys on the basketball floor. It's more of what can't he do more than what can he do, because he can do a lot. So yeah, excited to have him. And again, this is going to be as much competition that we've seen at an Aztec practice in a long time. And that's exactly, as a coach, that's what you're excited about. That's what you're looking forward to, because you know how much work these guys already put in. But now when these practices start and we get together in July, it's going to be on every single day.
There's no doubt about it. We're with Dave Velasquez. So what does it look like now from like a staff perspective? Take our listeners through that. Like you said, the team, first of all, you reconvened so early. And like I said, it's a year-round venture. The practices begin in July. But what happens in May and June in anticipation for later in the summer?
So we've been doing 4 days of workouts every week since the season ended, basically since the face of the Final Four. So we've been in the gym. Now, when finals week is next week, so our last workout with the guys will be this Thursday, May 1st. And then after that, the guys kind of go their own way. They all kind of do their own thing. And to be honest with you guys, back in the old days, everyone used to go home. Now they understand that you live in San Diego. You can afford to live in San Diego. Why would I leave San Diego? So we'll see a lot more of them in May and June than the old days, and they'll be still working out in the Jam Center. But then in July, after that fourth week, the July 4th week, our second session of summer school starts around that July 7th, July 8th time. And at that point, we'll have all the new guys. Everybody will be here. Everybody will be clear to practice, and we'll hit the ground running with all the guys. And the guys will kind of start to trickle into San Diego. The new guys, the ones we just talked about, those 5, they'll all come in. There's not like a set date, but on July 7th, they have to be ready to go for practice with our entire team, with the former guys, the current guys we have on our team, and the new guys will all be the first time on the floor together.
Well, I think I'm putting it lightly that Aztec fans are excited for the upcoming season. We still 6 months to go. I mean, the season won't start for 6 months. It'll be the first week of November, but Aztec fans are through the moon excited. I just saw the reaction for some of the returnees at that banquet, specifically with Magoon. You could see how much he appreciated what it meant to have the fan base kind of rally behind him. I mean, people are so in tune with this. And to have Magoon, among others, Dave, as you know, back, but to see the way the fan base reacted to Magoon the other night, that was kind of special, wasn't it?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, those guys that are coming back, to feel that energy again and to have them all there. And, Miles Bird, he's driving back and forth from LA to San Diego, and to have him there, his parents there. I mean, there's just, San Diego State is so special in so many ways. And that night you could really feel it, and it's just, again, it's not just the guys, it's the people around them that make the place so special. And our fans are as good as there are in the country. And obviously with the Mesa support, that they were able to step up, and the fans were able to step up. And we had some certain people in town really step up and help us. And now we got a really good team back, and a team that went through some growing pains last year that we expect really big things out of next year.
Dave Velasquez, always appreciate you taking time for us. Get some sleep if you can.
Yeah. Hey, John, I got one last thing for you guys. That was the first banquet. I've been here 23 seasons, I believe, and that was the first banquet that Ted Leitner did not MC, and you had to replace a legend. And John Schaefer, you killed it. You did an unbelievable job. Ted was great. You were awesome. And I just, we can't thank you enough, man. We're so excited. You're going to be the future voice of the Aztecs. You're as good as they come, brother.
I was waiting for you to say, you know what? We actually really missed Ted.
Ted was sorely missed.
I was at the tip of my tongue on that one.
Dave, seriously, I truly appreciate you saying that. I can't wait for November, like Aztec fans. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up again, obviously, this summer.
Sounds great. Go Aztecs.
Great stuff from Dave Velasquez, who, by the way, started as a manager for the Aztecs, has been here for as long as anyone.
He'll be the successor, most likely to Dutch.
Could absolutely be. He's a terrific young coach. Luis Arraez has a message for Padres fans that we'll share with you on the other side. It's John and Jim.
Great catching up with Dave Velasquez. We will hear from John Canzano on this Pac-12 media deal expansion. What comes next? Like if I was just doing a show for myself.
Yes, John.
I would just have John Canzano every day, and I would just talk to myself about Pac-12 media. Think that'd be a big ratings win in San Diego if you just talked media deals about Pac-12? Would that be... Is that how you get to the top of the ratings?
Look, we've already determined that house settlement talk.
That was big.
Not really.
I looked at the number. Mary showed me the numbers that show.
Did we get a spike in streaming numbers?
Oh my gosh, we've never had a show like that. It rivaled the Alabama-San Diego State game from 2 years ago in the Sweet 16.
I thought I heard something in my ear. It was the sound of click.
Probably.
Yeah.
By the way, if you noticed this with the phone system, I was going to text it to you while we were doing the interview with Dave.
They sound better.
It sounds incredible. I don't know if it's just in our ears or if that's going over the radio. It's like a rich, full sound with the phones. Didn't you think that with Dave Fleming and then Dave Velasquez? I'm like, this sounds very like rich.
You know, going behind the scenes, there was I know, it's amazing. There was a time when the guests could barely hear us. Remember that?
Oh my, that time was like a year and a half.
It was like 2 weeks ago.
2 years, right? Yeah, it just happened.
It was yesterday. But yeah, it sounded good.
What do we owe the fact that they upgraded things for us? Like, I feel so fortunate.
Our special engineers that traveled down here to San Diego to help us out.
They gave me 2 monitors.
They're giving me 2 monitors.
Two monitors. They gave us new phones. What's next?
I said, it's funny going behind the scenes. They're like, what? Like, give us your asks. Like, what do you
give
want?
us your what?
Asks.
I don't think you just said that.
Ask.
Give us your
ass.
Yes, I think what you said.
Give us your biggest.
Give
asks.
us your ass.
I was like, dude, I want digital boards like calling behind us. I want like a chair. I want like a couch over there. I want like 7K cameras in our studio. I want it all.
Well, I don't know if we're gonna get that.
Probably not.
But we did get phones.
That's very important, John.
Which has been very good.
Yes.
All right. So Luis Arraez has been activated, and he's in the lineup. And before he spoke with the media while he was at his locker, he had this to say.
Hello, everybody. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Dun 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 dun.
Hello, everybody. I'm
dun,
back.
Dun 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 dun.
What's that?
Dun, dun, dun. You don't know what that is?
No. Oh, is that
man,
like Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
No, I'm back, baby.
Everybody's shaking their head back there, not
Ryan's by that.
not because of what I just did, but because
they thought I would know.
Correct.
Well, I know I'm back, baby. But let me hear that one more time. Is that what he says?
No,
I'm back, baby.
No, the Terminator does not go, I'm back, baby.
What's he say?
He goes, I'll be back.
Oh, yeah. That's what I meant. Let's hear it one more time.
Hello, everybody. I'm back.
Friendlier
I love
version.
that.
That's a friendlier version of what the Terminator would say.
I feel like those vibes were missing. I don't know if they're going to matter in the batter's box tonight against Logan Webb, but I liked hearing that.
John's getting Hasta La Vista, and I'll be back.
That's
Hasta la
exactly
vista,
what I'm
baby.
doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah. Any type of movie reference with you is just...
Dude, I invented the movie references.
Oh, really?
And actually, no, I didn't.
No.
You know, can I mention this real quick?
No.
Because why not? You know, we mentioned Shaq yesterday. Do the Shaq.
Hey,
I'm the
Shaquille
Sac
O'Neal.
State.
I'm at Sac State now. You guys want a pizza?
You know what they just announced? And for some of our listeners, they'll know this name. Jim may or may not. You know the name Mikey Williams?
Yes, San Diego kid.
Massive 5-star recruit at one point. Now there were off-court issues, if you recall.
Yeah.
And I don't know all the particulars, but there was a gun charge at one point in the state of California or in the city of San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
He was at one point a massive prospect, one of the biggest prep prospects in the country, had committed to Memphis.
Yep.
I actually thought this past offseason he committed to Memphis. It's being reported right now Mikey Williams has committed to Sacramento State.
Hey, we got Mikey Williams. You like that?
What do you got, Marshall?
He did play for a few games at University of Central Florida.
UCF.
Oh.
We're like the Danettes now.
We are. Well, Marshall knows everything about high school sports here in San Diego. So
perfect.
Anything high school sports related, Marshall's got it covered.
Day one of the Shaq era, and they bring in Mikey Williams. Like,
Hey.
what's next?
What's up? We got Mikey Williams. We're going to the Final Four.
Is anyone else curious about the Sac State? We have $50 million in NIL. We have Shaq. We have
Well,
football.
if they start doing more stuff like this,
they've never been to the NCAA tournament.
I'm not surprised.
But now that they have Shaq, they're probably like everyone's getting a Shaq-a-roni pizza.
We're going to the tournament. We're gonna eat some shakaroni pizzas and play March Madness.
Does he have eligibility? He only played at LSU for what, a year or two?
It's like the conversation of like, not to Shaq, but
Right.
how many NBA players in the league right now could you pluck off, whatever team they're on, put them on any like 16 seed in the tournament, and could they win the NCAA tournament? How many players in the NBA are there? Like, are you talking like 5 to 10 players in the NBA that could do that?
Right. So you're asking me that
if you took Giannis off the Bucks right now and put him on the 16 seed in the tournament,
I like this. I like
whatever,
this.
could they win the NCAA tournament?
That is such a good question.
How many players?
It's
in the
like
NBA
the gorilla versus human question.
A little different because the gorilla kills.
Right. We said, so the question yesterday, if you missed that, was it's like trading on social media. Who would you take, one gorilla or 100 humans?
No,
like
the question is, could 100 humans or men beat one gorilla?
Right.
One
This question now is,
gorilla.
could one NBA star of stars, a top 10 player,
or
lead
just
a 16 seed to a national championship?
Or just any NBA? Like, could you take Brooke Lopez?
No way any NBA player, right? Would any NBA player lead a team to 6 consecutive tournament wins?
Like, if you took, all right,
yeah, we're watching this
Pacers Bucks game. All right. I'm not gonna take Giannis. Like, let's just say
the next best player,
Tyrese Halliburton. Could you put him on a 16 seed, and could they make a way all the way to the NCAA national championship?
I need an answer to that. Like, I want to hear from a coaching perspective. Like, I would have asked Dave Velasquez that. Like, what is the difference that one player could make? To your point, a 16 seed isn't the worst team. You're not saying, hey, put them on an 0-30 team. You're putting them on like a 20-10 team that played at like a lower level.
Right.
And like, will that be enough to beat like Kansas?
Like Tyrese Halliburton. Could he lead a 16 seed to the Final Four?
Maybe.
Now, this like I mentioned, Brooke Lopez. Could he lead a 16 seed to the Final Four? He's not anywhere close to one of the best players in the league, but he's a 7-footer that can shoot a 35-footer and block shots. And
could Steph Curry lead Davidson to the Elite Eight? Well, yeah, he already did it. So, like, could he lead him to a Final Four?
This version of Steph Curry?
You're right. He probably could will a team maybe to a national championship because he's capable. And with the 3-point line in college, he's capable of scoring 55 points in a 40-minute game.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
question.
It's an interesting question. 70470 started with the word team. We'll get to the wrap on the other side. John Canzano on the Pac-12 media deal at 4:30. If you missed Dave Fleming of the Giants, we'll play it back for you at 5 p.m. This is John and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. Padres and Giants start a 2-game series tonight at Petco Park, 6:40 first pitch. Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants against Nick Pivetta for the Padres. Good news for the Padres. Luis Arraez is officially back in tonight's lineup. So is Jason Hayward. Yuli Gurriel has been DFA'd, and Mason McCoy has gone on the IL with a dislocated finger. NBA action today. Bunch of winner go home games. Bucks Pacers game 5. Pacers trailing the Bucks 46-35. Pacers lead that series 3-1. Minute 51 left in the first half. Knicks Pistons. The Knicks looking to close out the Pistons. Tips off at 4:30. Celtics looking to close out the Magic tonight in game 5. That tips off at 5:30. And then a crucial game 5 in Denver between the Nuggets and the Clippers tips off at 7 p.m. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it with eBay. You find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
It's John and Jim to warm up that drive home.
How can people be critical of their schedule?
Yeah, Cleveland, Detroit, who else?
The only teams that
Chicago.
are Atlanta's about to be over. Atlanta's close to within 2 games.
Atlanta's on a tear right now, by the way. Interesting how those things work. They started the season 0-7.
But the only 2 teams they've played that under 500 are Atlanta and Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado's the worst team in baseball.
The A's are over 500.
Now, time for John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Hour 3, John and Jim. John Canzano has got his own website, johncanzano.com. Did a great job reporting on this Pac-12 TV deal. What comes next? Expansion, how does it relate to San Diego State? You'll hear our conversation at 4:30. Jim, before we get to the wrap, all right, back to your question of the day. Can you put Tyrese Halliburton on any college team in the tournament and win a natty?
And it's not my question. I saw this, I think,
I like it.
Barstool or something.
I like it.
It's an interesting question.
Well, it's not like Barstool came up with it either.
No.
We've heard similar questions over the years. Here were the 16 seeds this year, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Norfolk State, SIU Edwardsville,
Okay.
American, I saw 2 of these in Dayton, Mount St. Mary's, Alabama State, and St. Francis. There's 6 teams because of the play-in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we really taking St. Francis to a natty, Tyrese? Are we taking Alabama State? I don't know the answer, but it's the more I actually say the names out loud of some of these schools, I don't know if they were 1 player away. Now, these are good players, the guys in the NBA.
If you put Nikola Jokic.
True. No, those are, you're right. If you put Wemby on American.
They are winning the natty, bro.
Wemby on American would be so good, dude.
They are
Shooting
easily
threes.
winning the natty. Like, they'd have to triple team him, and he would end up having 50 assists a game. Because
Wait, does he have go-to secondary scores?
Just can they make layups?
Right.
Yeah,
I'd like to see it.
If Jokic is on one of these teams, if Kawhi, healthy, is on one of these teams,
Right.
if Luka is on one of those teams.
I mean, shoot, Kawhi came close in college. I mean,
I know.
Losing to the eventual national champion in a close game in
Freaking
UConn.
Wemby, SGA.
Right.
Like, come on.
Right. Now, the difference between, you're right, but I would say this about like Kawhi in college. Yeah, obviously different player. But Kawhi in college didn't play for a 16 seed either.
No. But Kawhi also wasn't even close to the
Kawhi.
player
No, I
he
mean,
is
now he's shooting like 42% from 3 for a season.
Like Jason Tatum. All right. I know he did play in college at Duke, but imagine Jason Tatum just
today
pulling up from 29 feet in college. These kids would be like, what's going on here?
They should do this. They should allow 116 seed. You want to increase
any
ratings?
NBA player?
Yeah.
That would be lit. That would be.
I'd be watching
incredible.
that.
I would be so on board with that. Oh my!
I'd be
gosh.
still mad if I walked into my playing game. I'm like, Wemby's not American. This is a joke.
Like, they got Jokic over
This is
there?
a joke.
What the hell,
It's
man?
like that Sports Center ad. Did you ever the Sports Center ad back in the day where it's like Bristol? It's like just dudes show up to play 5-on-5 pickup. It's Bristol pickup against 5 NBA guys that are like visiting ESPN. And
It's like Kobe's out there.
yeah, who was it? Like one of the Sports Center anchors after like a Chris Webber dunk is like, shut up and play the game to the other team. All right, 4:30. John Canzano will join us right now. Let's get to this.
It's time for The Wrap, presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Which team is more likely to overcome a 3-1 deficit, the Lakers or the Rockets?
I want to say the Lakers, but the Rockets, they have been close in every single one of these games. They didn't blow out the Warriors in game 2, but every game, a play here or there, it could have gone to the Rockets. And I'm a little scared, being a Warriors fan, that they might have found out a lineup that's going to be a problem for the Warriors here with Sengun and Steven Adams both in the lineup. They just have dominated the Warriors. And if Draymond Green's in foul trouble, that's an issue. All they have to do, take care of business at home, and then just win one game on the road, and it's back to game 7, and then you're like, oh, here we go. I don't know.
Neither have a great chance, even if it's a 1 in 5 chance, but that's not impossible.
I'll say the Rockets, just because I think the Timberwolves are a better team than the Lakers.
To your point, the reason I like the chances of both, to make it interesting, is that both have what would be 2 of 3 at home. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a scenario where you're down 3-1 going to that team's venue, you're done. Like, if the Rockets had to play game 5 at Golden State and game 7 at Golden State, that hypothetical, their chances just diminished ridiculously. Yeah. But they don't. They both have quote unquote home court, or would have home court in a 7th game. I'll just take the Lakers because of Luka and LeBron and say, well, if the Lakers win game 5, they put a lot of pressure on Minnesota in game 6, and they have Luka and LeBron.
Now, in Steve Kerr's history as Warriors head coach, they have had a 3-1 series lead 10 times. No, 11 times. Sorry.
And their record is 10-1?
10-1.
With the NBA Finals 3-1 lead.
Yeah.
To Cleveland. Do you remember that?
Next freaking question.
Yeah,
right?
Next question.
Is this a must-win game tonight for the Padres?
Obviously. According to us, yeah.
Is the sky blue? I mean, what are we doing here? It's absolutely a must-win game. Season's over. They don't win tonight.
Of course.
It's not a must-win game. They've lost 5 in a row before. Look at last year, how many 5-game losing streak they had. I don't like it, but it is still fact that they won 93 games while losing 5 in a row. What, 5 times last year? 4 times last year. So it's not the end of the world, but I'll probably treat it like it's such.
It's not a must-win because Logan Webb. I mean, if tonight was just some rando that
like
made
a 70 ERA,
4 big league starts, and all 4 of them had been below average with a 6.97, I'd be like, you got to take advantage of this opportunity. I just think this will be a really compelling game. It would be great to get this one just to snap this 4-game losing streak, but of course not in April. It's not a must-win. Next question.
What do you think of that NBA considering a U.S. versus the world format for next year's All-Star game? Let's just do a new format every year.
And this is with the Olympics being in 2026, but a winter. They said this would be during the NBC Winter Olympics. This would be the lead-in to that night of the Winter Olympics. And this All-Star game will be on NBC with the NBA returning to NBC next year.
Now, is it with All-Star players or like?
I think it would be All-Star. I think there's enough of an international pool to have, right? You'd have an All-Star international team against an All-Star U.S. sports.
Because what I don't want to see is players from, U.S. and international guys on the team that aren't All-Stars.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to see that.
But what about what we saw last year? Just go back to what they did. What's wrong with East-West?
Well, the problem with last year, and there was a lot of gripe from the current players, including Draymond Green, and I completely agree with them.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that NBA Sunday night, I think it was Sunday night, or NBA Saturday night. No, NBA Sunday night, which is the All-Star game night. You had 2 games, and then the winners of those games moved on to play each other later that night.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the teams that was playing was like the Rising Stars. And I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
So as long as the teams are only constructed of all-stars, go for it. But is there enough international and U.S. players that would be considered all-stars to make up a team for both countries?
That's a good question. I'd prefer to the format they just used, but I think my preferred format is something called the Eastern Conference's best players against the Western Conference's best players. And here's the other thing I would prefer. Put them in their uniforms and have one team wear the white uniforms and the other team wear the dark uniforms. Yeah. So like the Sixers and the Knicks, they can wear their own uniforms and be on the same team at the same time. I miss those days. Next question.
will Xander hit a home run in the next 2 days?
You say years?
Did you say years?
Decades.
Decades?
He'll hit 2 this decade.
Before that meteor hits.
I'll use the reverse jinx psychology. No, he won't. Not even close. There you go.
I'll use the reverse jinx and say no, not even close. Which means hopefully 2 are coming in one game.
Hopefully. I think you were like, dude, you guys just bash on Xander. Why don't you root for him?
Everyone bashes him.
We do root for Xander. We want Xander to do well, but it's hard to root for a guy when he does nothing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's hard now to be critical of John and Jim for being critical of Xander, because if you're not being critical of Xander, you're not being anywhere near truthful. And if there's anyone still holding out this argument that, like, he's an above average middle infielder, no, he's not. I mean, stop. I don't care what about the contract. He's not an above average anything. So he's just struggling. He's going through it. He would tell you that. Like, if you were having a one-on-one, if you were his boy and they were having a drink, he would tell you, I'm going through it.
And I'm an above average radio host. Like, what are we doing here?
Boom. No, I mean, he's just not. And it doesn't mean everything's lost. It doesn't. It doesn't mean everything is lost for Xander Bogaerts. But to get back to where he was in Boston, I'll believe it when I see it for a prolonged period of time. And that feels like a long time away, sadly.
Because do I think Xander will have at least 1 year with the Padres that's good? Yeah, I tend to believe that averages tend to work themselves out, and he's going to have at least 1 year where he's consistently good throughout the entire year.
I would hope so.
2023 is such a fake stat year for Xander. It's ridiculous. But is there 1 year where he hits like 340 with runners in scoring position and has 20 home runs and 87 RBI and hits 297 with a 780, 790 OPS? Highly unlikely, but
I might take the under on those stats.
But maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
that's
his
what they
first year stats. To your point, just stats,
just overall stats. If you just looked at him and didn't like dive deep into them,
they were close to the numbers you just said. He had a 790 OPS with 19 home runs. You just said 20. Now you said the 80 something RBIs. He had 58.
Right, and I also said he would hit 340 with runners in scoring position
and
that
he hit
year.
192.
He hit 192 exactly. So
I don't know.
I don't know either. But what I am afraid of is yes, the fact that Xander will never, ever be anywhere close to the player he's in Boston. It's that in years when they need him to produce the most, when they are clearly contenders, like right now, he's just not going to show up. And then when the team is back to eventually, 82 win team and they're kind of just fighting for anything they have and they're kind of just average, that's when he'll just have a good season, throw like out of nowhere. But that would also probably mean he's like 35, 36, because I do think this team could contend for the next couple of years for sure.
No, I completely agree with that. On the other side, speaking of the Padres and Giants tonight, I have the key for the Padres to break out of their offensive slump. And I will share that with you on the other side. Plus, John Canzano, Pac-12 is a media deal for 2025. What does it mean for the Aztecs in 2026 and beyond? John Canzano coming up at 4:30. Dave Fleming, Giants Radio at 5. It's John and Jim.
right, San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday. It's the Bonus Bucks giveaway. That's every hour. 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportsSD.com. I'll give you the Padres. Is kryptonite the right term or no? What's kryptonite mean? Does that mean something?
Weakness.
Okay, so the Giants' kryptonite.
Yeah. That'd be correct. Or not the Giants. I'm guessing Logan Webb.
Logan Webb's kryptonite, I'll share with you in a moment. But
Okay.
you had share with our listeners these World Series odds per Baseball Reference that make no sense.
I have to make sure this is not a fake account.
Is this like an
It's
AI
not.
thing?
No.
Okay.
The MLB on Fox X account
Not MLB on Facts, though, right? That like
No,
fake
no, no.
one. Okay.
is the right one. 1.8 million followers. Gold check mark.
Yep.
They said Baseball Reference's current odds to win the 2025 World Series based on their simple rating system. So what do you think of these odds? They don't make any sense. The best odds to win the World Series, according to this, is the Cubs at 15.9%.
How could any team have a 16% chance of winning the World Series right now?
And then you have the Tigers at 15%. Then the Mets, the Yankees, the Astros, the Seattle Mariners.
The list is done to me. This is a mistake. How are the Mariners are above the Padres?
Uh-huh.
Come on.
Huh?
So where are the Giants? Did you mention the Giants?
No, I'm getting to them.
What about did you mention the Dodgers?
No, I'm getting to them. 7 through 11. Padres, D-backs, Giants, Brewers. No, sorry. My bad. Padres, D-backs, Dodgers, Brewers, Giants. It's a little weird to read this.
So what percent chance does this give the Padres of winning the World Series?
A 6% chance.
That's pretty darn high.
Gives the Mariners a 7.9% chance.
They've never even played in the World Series.
When's the last time they made the postseason?
20 years, right?
Literally the Bush administration.
Yeah, basically, right?
About.
Is it? I think it's been that long. I'm serious.
Dude.
So what's our takeaway? That the Cubs are going to win the World Series? I don't buy any of that. What percent chance do the Dodgers have of winning the World Series, according to that?
5.3%.
That doesn't make sense. And the Giants are similar, 5 or 6?
3.6%.
Come on. Give me a break. This is official for the Padres, Jim. We have reinstated, we being the Padres, they wrote this. We've reinstated infielder Luis Arraez and outfielder Jason Hayward, designated infielder Yuli Gurriel, and placed infielder Mason McCoy on the IL. Man, they can't stay healthy. I'm kidding. Whatever. He's got a left finger sprain, Mason McCoy. So those are the moves. How do you get Hayward and Arraez on the roster? You take Gurriel and McCoy off the roster.
Totally fine with not ever seeing Yuli Gurriel.
What's your favorite? Tweet it. What's your favorite Yuli Gurriel memory?
Too Much Morton's on X actually put out
Did he do that?
Like highlight package that I was longer than I expected. It was about 27 seconds long.
Of good things or bad things?
Of good things from Yuli Gurriel.
He had like a hit or two with men in scoring position. Seriously, maybe 3.
I know, he did.
He had like 3 hits.
He
with men in scoring
has,
position.
what, 3
Couple
RBIs?
Yeah. It wasn't good, though. He just can't hit. And we told you that. Remember in the offseason, we're like, he hasn't hit in 5 years. And that played out.
It was a failed experiment.
For no money.
Because
they'll only owe him, well, I don't know. He signed for $1 million, right? But he was only here for a month. I don't think he even gets it.
Yeah. Now, you had to wait a certain amount of time before you could like make those moves, right? Like you couldn't DFA somebody like right away.
I don't know, unless due to injury. Maybe I'm not sure how it worked out. He made it only a month. That's crazy. He didn't even make it till May.
Well, yeah, he was awful.
And he didn't even make it with the injuries. He didn't even make it with the injuries they're dealing with.
What's wild to me about like these situations is that literally everybody, once Yuli Gurriel signed, universally was like, this guy stinks.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Washed.
Yet the people in the organization were the complete opposite. Like, oh, you can maybe give us something. Like, what?
Not?
Like, no. Now, sometimes you're obviously going to know a lot more than an average fan, but there are some times that the average fan is kind of right.
And there's sometimes when as an organization, you're just handcuffed and you're choosing between bad or worse.
That is true.
Because it's like you're at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. You're signing 41-year-olds. They're never going to be like,
He's going to recapture lightning in a bottle. He's going to look like a 30-year-old and
he's going to
hit 30 home runs.
That 2019 season, I bet he can get somewhere close to that.
It's like that's 6 years, which is a lifetime in professional sports. All right, here's the Logan Webb kryptonite, folks. He is batting cleanup tonight for the San Diego Padres. His name is Gavin Sheets. He is 5 for 8 lifetime off Webb with 2 doubles and a 1,500 OPS in that 8 plate appearance sample size. 5 for 8. And Manny Machado lifetime in 35 plate appearances against Logan Webb has hit 344. So Sheets and Machado, circle Manny Machado, Jim. He's someone that you could use hits from. And circle Gavin Sheets tonight against Logan Webb. I say one important hit from Gavin Sheets tonight.
What is Xander's lifetime numbers against Logan Webb?
Not good. 222
what about,
in 18 at bats.
And then give me Jose Iglesias.
Jose Iglesias' lifetime. Is it possible he's never faced him?
Maybe. Even though he's 36
that doesn't make
old.
any sense. But
I don't know. Logan Webb's not like a old player, but he's not really young either. He's been in the big leagues for a while.
Right. Here's Toddy, 217 lifetime. 23 ABs. But who do we mention? Elias Diaz is 1 for 22 lifetime. So just bunt, dude. I don't care if there's anyone on base. Just bunt.
Just bunt.
That's my strategy.
Well, I was asking about Diaz. Xander because if tonight you get situations where, Manny and Gavin Sheets, they're going to be getting on base because they have really good lifetime numbers against
on base.
Logan Webb. Guess who's going to be in a position to have to drive those guys in?
Xander Bogaerts.
So we'll see.
I am fascinated by tonight. I just am. They've lost 4 straight, coming off an off day. They get Arraez back. Does any of this matter in the short term, in the immediate term? Can they just beat a good pitcher?
Can Xander for one night flip this narrative on him?
Just do that.
Just for one night.
Make us look stupid.
Seriously.
I'm so mentally ready for it.
Yes, we are ready to have a show where we come on here and say, great job, Xander. We were wrong.
Right.
Like, can we have one of those shows?
Can you please be Brandon Nimmo and have 9 RBIs?
Dude, that was amazing. Brandon Nimmo in one game put up more offensive production than Xander's done all year long.
They actually doubled it.
I know he did.
Xander's got to 5, basically doubled it. And this was yesterday.
Yes, 2 home runs and 9 RBI.
Yesterday. Am I asking for too much to have 2 home runs and 9 RBIs off Logan Webb tonight? I am.
Probably.
All right, John Canzano, johncanzano.com. The Pac-12 is a media deal for 2025. What about 2026? San Diego State enters the league. John Canzano coming up next. All right, guys, it is John and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino and Resort, the Players Place. We've reminded you of this before. They've got this Union Tribune, San Diego's Best Awards process playing out right now, and you can learn more at jamulcasino.com to vote, but it is that time of year. Make your voices heard. It's the annual San Diego's Best of UT Readers Poll. They would love your vote for best local casino, best sports bar, best nightclub. Visit jamulcasino.com to vote.
And join Jamul Casino for Sunset Trivia every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and compete for prizes at your favorite casino. Plus, enjoy 50% off classic sushi, nigiri, hand rolls, and any of their featured ramen bowls every Tuesday through Thursday. Now through May 23rd, exclusions do apply.
That sounds amazing.
It does. It really does.
Catch all the sports action, including tonight, Padres Giants at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub. Experience the ultimate sports showdown. You can catch the Padres. You can catch the NBA postseason going on tonight. Plus, savory bites at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, where fandom meets fantastic. It's at the all-new Jamul Casino and Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update's brought to you by eBay. Padres and Giants tonight at Petco Park, 6:40 first pitch. Logan Webb on the mound for the Giants against Nick Pivetta for the Padres. Luis Arraez is back in tonight's lineup for the Padres. That is good news. NBA action tonight. Couple winner go-home games, then a crucial game 5 first up. Pacers and Bucks. Pacers now lead the Bucks 52-51 with 8:29 left to go in the third quarter. Knicks Pistons tip off at 4:30. Celtics and Magic tip off at 5:30. And then Nuggets and Clippers, a crucial game 5 tips off at 7 p.m. in Denver. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. So John Canzano has a radio show in Portland, and it's at the same time as John and Jim. So I caught up with him early.
I can't wait for this interview.
Yeah, this is when Jim was sleeping. Now, it wasn't at 6 in the morning. I did the interview at actually 9:05 is when I did it.
Hey, man.
But I just did it solo because Jim was sleeping, like truly sleeping. So John Canzano has been a terrific reporter on all things Pac-12 when it comes to like media rights, TV deals, expansion. We talk about a lot in here, but I started the conversation asking about this Pac-12 media deal for 2025, which was announced today, and what he thought of the exposure getting games on the CW, CBS, and ESPN.
Yeah, well, Pac-12 Commissioner Teresa Gold told me late in November that, I asked her about this 2025 and the 2026 media deal, and I said, what's important to you? And she said, it's exposure. It's not about who can pay the most money. This is about staying visible. This is about trying to find a true partner. And I think, I was a little surprised to see some of the national big players come in on this. ESPN coming in for a couple of games, CBS coming in for a couple of games, and the CW coming back for more after what was a pretty good year for them last year as they dipped their toe into the conference. But the exposure piece is there. For Oregon State, it's getting 2 games on ESPN. That is real ESPN. This is not ESPN News. This is not ESPN Deportes. This is not ESPNU. This is big ESPN plus CBS. It's real CBS. This is not CBS Sports Network. This is CBS along with a streaming element on Paramount. So really good exposure, particularly for Oregon State, who I think is going to have a pretty good season. And it kind of dovetails into next year in 2026 and what happens beyond, because these partners are very likely to be involved in the next deal, or at least have the option in the 2025 deal to kick the tires on 2026 and beyond. But the exposure piece that Teresa Gold wanted, the partnership, it's all there in this deal.
What's the timeline now on 2026 in terms of the media deal, its expansion efforts? When are we expecting to learn more?
Yeah, I mean, the 2025 piece took longer than expected, and there were even some holdups at the end, as they were trying to move a game. ESPN wanted the Oregon State Houston game on a Friday night, so it added like a week to the timeline, and it was really interesting to kind of get that insight into it. There are a lot more moving pieces for 26 and beyond. You've got a basketball piece involving Gonzaga and everybody else. You've got the new members coming in. The CW, I'm going to guess, is going to want a piece of the pie. Will they stay at 9 games? Will they try to expand their role? Will Turner or TNT come in to try to take some basketball? So there are a lot of moving pieces here. I'm told not to hold your breath here, that it's not going to be like the 26 piece is going to be announced in a week or two. It could be several weeks. It could be a month. I can't help but think that the mediation between the Pac-12 and the Mountain West is probably playing a role in that, and why these deals were not announced simultaneously. Because I think that, one, there's some optics there. If you're announcing a big deal and it's 26 and beyond, while you're trying to mediate, that could you remove some leverage. I also think that, there's the expansion piece, and, there's the potential for UNLV or somebody else to be involved in that. And I think that piece still needs to be rectified and finalized. But, I'm sort of targeting, like, it could be several weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks before we really start to see this deal come together. And And, look, I saw the 25 piece coming together maybe 2 weeks ago. So it gives you kind of some context for it that, I knew that the CW was a partner. I knew they were taking 9 games. I didn't know who the other 2 partners were until the last 48 hours. So I think that gives you some context. But I think, if you're the future Pac-12 schools like San Diego State, you have to be pretty encouraged by the distribution, the exposure of the 25 deal. And certainly it looks like, the Pac-12's deal in 26 and beyond will be a lot bigger and a lot more valuable than the Mountain West deal.
Would you feel the same way? John Canzano, johncanzano.com with us right now. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Would you feel the same way about exposure moving forward when the Pac-12 takes on its new look with these schools that are coming in? Is exposure still trumping revenue, or how is that balance going to be defined?
Yeah, I mean, Teresa Gold will tell you they love revenue, right? They always want revenue. The schools need revenue to live. That's their lifeblood. But they don't want to disappear. And this next 5 years, guys, is about staying visible, staying relevant, positioning yourself for what's next. It's why the grant of rights is only a 5-year deal in the Pac-12. They know that there's another sort of inflection point that is coming in 2031, 2032, and the schools want to be prepared for it. So, I think, if you are a Pac-12 fan, you definitely need that exposure, because so much of what you want to do is to build your brand and, invest in your football program and invest in your basketball program and position yourself for whatever comes next. So I do think that exposure piece is big. I also talked with Gonzaga's AD, Chris Standiford, a few weeks ago in Spokane. And, he told me, he said that they're looking for a real partner. And it isn't about who can pay the most money. It's about somebody who really wants to buy into what the Pac-12 is doing. Now, the CW is doing that clearly in football, but is there a basketball partner like TNT or Turner, lost the NBA, that could come in and be that basketball, machine on the media side? I kind of think that's where it may be headed. But, if I'm UNLV and I'm looking at this, I'm now seeing ESPN, CBS, big exposure, the potential for a lot more money. I'm certainly interested to see what happens with the mediation with the Mountain West and Pac-12, because it looks like, they need one more school that, if I'm another school on the outside looking in, I find this pretty attractive.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And you've been asked so much about expansion, and we can get to that piece beyond UNLV as well. But what do you see as most likely? One additional school, which gets the Pac-12 to 8 football playing members, which is still only 7 conference games, which may create some challenges. Or do you think it's more likely they actually expand beyond just 1 full-time member?
Right now, I am thinking 1. I am thinking that there isn't a no-brainer out there. So if there's not one school, like the media companies and the consultants and the sources that I talk with tell me that, hey, all of these pieces are interchangeable. These 6 or 8 schools that we've all been talking about, there isn't one that just jumps out at you and says, that's the no-brainer. Because of that, I'm thinking that, the Pac-12's move here is to just take one, because why would you take a stable of teams if there isn't, somebody in that stable that you really love? And so it may come down to the bottom line, who is willing to take a minimal distribution. School like Texas State comes to mind there. It may come down to geography and travel expense. The bottom line there would certainly favor UNLV if you just look at it on a map. It could come down to brand, like who brings the biggest brand, who's willing to invest in a school like Memphis would jump out. I think those 3 are at the top of the list for different reasons. But I would, right now, I would say, gun to my head, they're taking one school. They'll go to 8 football playing members, and then they'll have to decide, are they going to do some kind of scheduling partnership with another conference where they cross over and play a game? Are they going to play a home and home like Washington State and Oregon State are doing this year? It's not unprecedented. It's unusual, but it increases your inventory. I think some of this depends on the appetite from the TV partners. Like, what are they interested in doing and what do they want? Because as we've found in expansion, they're driving the bus.
No doubt about it. John Canzano with us right now. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Just a couple of more, John, before you go. If UNLV was not part of the deal, would the Pac-12 still hold its championships, in your estimation, in Las Vegas, men's basketball and football potentially?
Yeah, I think they'd like to be in Vegas. And I think whether they have UNLV or not, you're seeing like the Big Ten is holding their media day in Vegas, and the Big 12 has talked about playing basketball games or football games in Vegas. And I think everybody likes to be in Las Vegas. It's a great place for fans to go. So I still think the Pac-12 would be interested in being there and having some kind of presence in that market. I also think that, UNLV, just from a geography standpoint, makes sense. The Washington State new president came out and said, the expansion piece, it would be west of the Mississippi. This is challenging my geography. I got my map out really quick and I'm like, all right, where's Memphis? Where's Tulane? Just so happens they're right on the Mississippi. So it didn't really help us figure that out. But I don't think anybody's interested in sending their Olympic sports athletes, too far away from home. And so, but the numbers have to make sense. And UNLV has been offered a bunch of promises by the Mountain West. Is that money there still? Can Gloria Nevarez, the Mountain West commissioner, land that plane, so to speak? I was told, I was given a quote. Somebody said, if she can't land the plane, all bets are off, and you would expect to see Air Force and UNLV run for other conferences. So keep an eye on the mediation with the Pac-12 and the Mountain West. I think that may be one of the triggers for expansion, whether the Pac-12 is moving on or whether the Pac-12 is going to try to take UNLV. And then beyond that, it's the announcement of the 26 deal. And it looks to me right now, guys, that the Pac-12 feels pretty good about the exposure piece and is really encouraged about what they're seeing in the market.
What about St. Mary's? Where does St. Mary's land in this whole equation? Obviously, it's a bit of an afterthought compared to probably adding that football member, but could they still be part of the basketball footprint moving forward?
Yeah, St. Mary's is still in play, but I am told by sources on that campus that they haven't had substantial talks with the Pac-12 about joining. They're just being told, like everybody else, hey, we need to finish the football piece first, then we'll pivot to basketball. Doesn't tell me that they're off the table, doesn't mean they're on the table, but certainly their basketball brand makes them intriguing, as a basketball edition or maybe, everything but football edition because they don't play it. It could just be that St. Mary's ends up playing some games against the Pac-12 schools because, they need strength of schedule. They like to continue to play Gonzaga and some other schools. So I'm not ruling St. Mary's out, but I think that's a piece that comes maybe a week or two after this football thing gets settled.
And I do wonder, too, just to kind of off the cuff thinking out loud, I wonder if Sac State could be part of some type of scheduling agreement, even if not officially a member of the Pac-12. But if they do make the move to FBS, I wonder what role they could play helping out the Pac-12 from a scheduling perspective.
Yeah, they're going to need games. And Dave Brown is the scheduling guru at College Gridiron. I had fascinating talk with him in the last couple of years as he has tried to piece together schedules. He's the one that told me that, hey, this home and home thing that Washington State and Oregon State are doing, it's not unprecedented. Liberty did it. New Mexico did it. UConn did it back in the day. And so if you get in a challenging situation, there's always games to be found. Now, it could just be Sac State needs games, and they're available late in the year where you could plug and play them at different times against different Pac-12 schools. So certainly they could fill a date on the football calendar. But I don't think that Sacramento State is a candidate at all to be an expansion member of the Pac-12. They're nowhere near ready. They're not being considered. They haven't had any discussions on that front. So if they did end up involved, I think it would only be from a football scheduling standpoint as maybe filling in for games here or there. Because if you're only 8 members, you're going to need that extra non-conference game. You're going to have to pick that up somewhere. So either it's a scheduling alliance or it's something very creative.
John, absolutely terrific reporting. You've been all over this 2025 media deal and beyond. For our listeners in San Diego, where can they get more of your work?
You can always find it at johncanzano.com. Get a free subscription, get a paid subscription. What works for you works for me. That's what I say. But appreciate you guys. Love the work you do. And looking forward to, I'm taking my tour to sunny San Diego. I'm doing this New World Pac-12 tour, so I can't wait to get down there. So I'm looking for some recommendations on where I should eat, where I should stay, what I should see when I'm there.
We'll have it for you, and hopefully it's like today where it's 72 and sunny. One of those Chamber of Commerce days once again in San Diego. Appreciate it, John.
Thanks, John. That was a great interview, buddy.
Yeah.
That
was really good. Thanks, John.
I enjoyed that interview with you. Not
John
you,
Canzano,
but John Canzano.
Yeah. No, he just said that. We must have cut him off before he said, thanks, Jim.
What was my favorite question that I asked him you asked?
I don't know.
It was the third one.
You did a nice job.
I did a real good job during that interview.
Where you're really going to appreciate it is when it ends up on YouTube.
And then you send me a text. It's like, hey, look how many 10,000 views.
Pac-12 news, man.
I'm like, well, this one I won't sue you for, so it's fine.
Since you weren't in it.
Correct.
All right, we're going to hear from Mike Schild. who spoke with the media prior to tonight's game, Giants-Padres game 1 coming up at 6:40. What does Mike Schilt have to say about Xander's struggles?
Oh, I can't wait to hear
Is
this.
it a struggle per Mike Schilt or not? We'll hear from Mike Schilt on the other side.
What do you think?
If you missed Giants radio broadcaster Dave Fleming, you'll hear that at 5 p.m. Mike Schilt on Xander's Hall of Fame season coming up next. All right, AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now to keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates apply. If you missed our conversation with Dave Fleming, Giants longtime radio broadcaster on this series, Padres and Giants, coming up tonight at 6:40. You'll hear from Dave Fleming in about 10 minutes at 5 p.m. Now, Jim has not heard what Mike Schilt has had to say about Xander Bogaerts.
I can guess what Mike Schilt said about Xander Bogaerts.
Before you hear it, and I think the question's from friend of ours, Marty Caswell. So we'll hear the question, right? The question's in there. Before you hear it, what do you think? I mean, the question is, what do you make of Xander's struggles, right? Essentially, yeah, I don't need the question. I can set it up. But what do you think? Give me like 3 things that you think are in there. 1, 2, or 3 things that he definitely says.
He's probably going to mention the fact that he has 8 doubles on the year.
Okay.
Or at least that he has shown better plate discipline.
Okay.
That he's putting together good at bats, that he's a veteran, that he's done it before, that they believe in Xander, that he's going to help this team win, and he's a winning baseball player, and he's one.
Those are all good.
Yeah, something along those lines.
I bet he says something about he's made some good contact.
Okay,
just a lot
Brent
of
says contact. Jim says doubles. All right, so this was Mike Schilt after being asked about Xander's struggles.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's unfair to point a finger at anybody. And clearly, especially him, he's on probably a pace for 40-something doubles. I think if you looked up and you took 40-something doubles out of any of our players, including Buggy, you'd probably feel pretty good about it. He's a guy that's helped us win games, and it's you have a stretch of 3 or 4 games that. You hit the ball right back at the pitcher, hit off his glove and right to a guy. Could have been a game-time RBI. Had a big, ball down the line the other day. I'm really unsure to answer the question because I don't really look at Bogey as anything but a benefit to the club. And sometimes the game is hard for a couple games. So I don't really know what to say beyond that.
The one thing that I was right about the doubles, by the way.
Yep.
And I did not listen to this clip. That was the first time listening to that clip. I know Mike Schilt like the back of my hand.
Yeah, but he's on pace for 40 doubles. But Mike is also on pace for no home runs. So that's at least a part of that,
and he has
right?
5 RBI.
Right.
You can kind of tell when somebody's like trying to not lie, but they're just trying not to say a bad thing about somebody because they are struggling to say a good thing about somebody.
And he said for 10 seconds, they're like, I don't really know what you want me to say. At the end, they're like,
it was a lot of yeah. There was no like definitive X, this and this. Ow.
Are you okay, man? You like broke your hand on the mic.
I really
don't break the mic, even though the tech guys are here.
Oh, they could fix it. Anyway.
Do you need a Band-Aid?
No, I'm okay. Just it's all right. They what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Mike Schilt. When he was struggling to say a positive thing about Xander, and then the first thing came to his mind was doubles. And then he's hit a couple hard balls off the pitcher's glove that have gone to players that are like, bad luck outs.
This is where Schilt and Melvin really do differ. And not to say one is better than the other in this regard, but Melvin at times will be pretty blunt. And he would just be like, yeah, they got to be better. He's going to have to be better. Like, he's just not coming through. Like, Melvin, there were some times there where he would call out his team or be critical of players on his team, where it's such a rarity with Schilt. I do think there's examples where post-game he has said, like, hasn't he ever said, like, he's got to pitch better?
There's been one example.
What was it?
And it was towards the end of last year when Robert Suarez was going through his struggles in September. And I think it was after the game against the White Sox where he gave up a lead, and it was against the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
And he might have mentioned that series about Robert Suarez and how he needed to be better.
Better saying, yeah.
But other than that, I can't remember a time where Mike Schilt said something to this extent. Yeah, he's struggling right now, but he's a big part of this team, and we're going to need him to play better. He knows he has to play better. There's nothing that I say here that he doesn't know already, and he's an accomplished big leaguer. The thing he's done in his career, he knows that he's a big part of this team, and we expect him to help this team win baseball games this season.
Right, and pick up his play.
Like he can't say that.
He can't. Like, seriously, if he was asked today about Yuli Gurriel being DFA'd, he would be like, I know this. One of those other 29 teams is getting a special person, a special player.
Well, he would definitely talk about like the 3 RBIs that he got.
Yeah, he had some big hits for us.
Yeah.
Did he though? I mean, he had RBI singles.
It was like 3 for 30.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is a one of one.
Mike Schilt?
Mike Schilt.
Oh, yeah.
He is a complete one of one, and it's a good one of one.
He wins ball games. He is a winning manager. So we've said this multiple times. Be as cringy as you want, and he'll be cringy. But if you win, so who cares, right?
I agree. I knew when I saw that there was a clip of him talking about Xander Bogaerts, it was going to be just. The thing is, he really didn't have anything to say other than he's on pace for a lot of doubles. Okay.
Yeah.
He's also on pace for 30 RBI, Mike, or 29.
0 home runs.
And 0 home runs. Hopefully that changes.
Sub 700 OPS.
Dave Fleming, Giants
and a
Radio.
million errors.
Getting us ready for this series, this quick 2-gamer that begins tonight at 6:40. We'll hear from Dave Fleming, longtime broadcaster for the San Francisco Giants, to kick off hour 4 of John and Jim next.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. We'll start with the Padres. They take on the Giants tonight. 2-game set starts tonight at 6:40 p.m. Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Logan Webb for the Giants. Good news for the Padres is that Luis Arraez is back in tonight's lineup. NBA action happening right now. Pacers and Bucks are tied at 75 as they head into the fourth quarter there. Pacers lead that series 3-1. Knicks and Pistons, they're underway in New York. Knicks are trying to close out the Pistons and move on to the second round. They trail the Pistons 15-14 with 2:56 left in the first quarter there. Celtics looking to close out the Magic tonight in Game 5. That game tips off at 5:30. And then Game 5 between the Nuggets and Clippers, with that series tied at 2 games apiece, tips off at 7 p.m. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need, prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
It's John and Jim to warm up that drive home.
How can people be critical of their schedule?
Yeah, Cleveland, Detroit, who else?
The only teams that
Chicago.
Atlanta's about to be over. Atlanta's supposed to within 2 games.
Atlanta's on a tear right now, by the way. Interesting how those things work. They started the season 0-7.
But the only 2 teams they played that under 500 are Atlanta and Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado's the worst team in baseball.
The A's are over 500.
Now, time for John and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California. What's going on? Final hour of John and Jim. We're getting you ready for tonight down at Petco. Padres trying to snap this 4-game losing skid, Jim. And we did catch up with Dave Fleming. Do you remember that?
I actually totally forgot, John.
We did it just 2 hours ago, but some of our listeners probably weren't listening at 3 p.m. And it's not every day we have Dave Fleming on the show.
No, it's not. We don't have Dave Fleming on the show every day.
Because then it would be the John and Jim. If he was literally on every day, his name would be on the show.
I mean, the show technically should be changed to John, Jim, and Kevin Acey.
True.
But
John and Jim and Friends.
Yeah.
John and Jim and Co.
Correct. Or
Hardwick, Schaefer and Friends. What do you think of that?
I just name it Mark and Rich.
I love that name.
Oh, no.
Let's get to this interview. If you missed Dave Fleming, Giants radio broadcaster, you getting ready, Marshall? Okay, I'm going to throw to the first question. We started the conversation asking about the Giants. Not only have they played well, they had 17 consecutive days without an off day before yesterday. Here's Dave Fleming.
Yeah, 17 days in a row in April is a formula for disaster because your starters aren't built up. You end up leaning hard on your bullpen. You can chew through your bullpen. By the end of that stretch, you can be out of arms and scrambling. And instead, kind of the opposite happened. Giant starters were really good. They have 2 guys who can be long men, and Bob Melvin managed his way through the 2 weeks plus, and there was no stress, undue stress on the bullpen. It was pretty remarkable, and they played almost all good teams. I mean, the Padres have had a pretty tough schedule too, I would say. But I mean, the Giants have played the Reds, the Mariners, the Yankees, the Phillies, the Rangers. They've played first place kind of teams almost all the way through, and done pretty darn well. So it's been a very good first month.
Jung-Hoo Lee has broken out so far early on this season, hitting .324 on the year. He got injured last year, but how good has he been this season for the Giants and hitting in the middle of the lineup?
Yeah, he's been for real. He's really a talented guy. And we got robbed of seeing him. And more importantly for him, like, he got robbed of his first year of experience and learning pitchers and learning ballpark. So he's still doing that, which makes it even more remarkable. He's doing as well as he is because he's seeing almost every pitcher that he faces, he's seeing for the first time. And that is an advantage for the pitcher. Typically, Jung-Hoo is stronger, more physical than he looks. He's got the ability to impact the ball. He's not just a little slap hitter. He's got, he's top 5, I think, in all of baseball in extra base hits. He's played really well in center field. It's too early to say. It's 250 big league at bats or something like that. It's not, it's way early in his career, but the Giants truly may have gotten a real impact guy in Jung-Hoo Lee. Fans love him. He's become a immediate fan favorite. So he brings a lot of energy every day. He's just been really, really good.
Dave Fleming with us right now, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 of the call tonight for the Giants here in San Diego. Obviously, Logan Webb tonight, he's been good for years. at this point, but it almost looks like, and I know it's early, he's been better than Logan Webb has been previously, and the strikeout numbers are up. What has led to, I mean, again, he's been so good, but it seems like his numbers are maybe even better this year than they've been in the past.
Yeah, he's definitely different because of the strikeout numbers.
Yeah.
He's never been he's been one of the best pitchers in the game for a long time without following the modern trend of piling up strikeouts. What's been different? Well, I would say a couple things. Number one, he has added to his repertoire. It used to be sinker, slider, changeup, and the slider and changeup were going in different directions. So they really complemented each other, but it was a 3-pitch mix. He's throwing a cutter now, and he's throwing a 4-seam fastball up. And it's not like those are his best pitches, but I think he's less predictable than he has been. A little less predictable and a little less reliant on getting the ground balls. And he's been so dominant, your phones didn't even want me talking about it. That's how good he's been.
Yeah. They were like, don't tell Padres fan about Logan Webb. You're going to see him later tonight. The changing of the guard in San Francisco from Farhan to Buster now, what have you noticed early on in the Buster regime that's, different from the Farhan regime, which was more analytic driven, a lot of players in and out of the lineup, different matchup style of lineups to more now, maybe more traditional baseball lineups with this team?
Yeah, I mean, a couple things come to mind. I would say the thing that has been most obvious and sort of most startling, the Giants have made one transaction this year. Now, part of that is they've stayed healthy. And, so that will change as guys get hurt, which inevitably will happen. San Diego Kids, Casey Schmidt is the only guy, he was on the opening day roster and was helping them against lefties. And he tweaked an oblique and went on the injured list. And that is the only move the Giants have made off their opening day roster in the first month, which, I mean, I haven't gone back and counted, but I bet by this time last year, they'd made 25 moves. So I think one of Buster's tenets among several is you can't expect a team to be a team. You can't expect a group to have sort of chemistry and a bond and an attitude of being selfless and helping each other out, whether that's in an at-bat or whatever it is, if you don't let your group stay together. So I think that is a part of Buster's philosophy of team building. You're seeing fewer pinch hit at bats. They're sticking with that. Part of that is just the way this roster is built, but they're sticking with left on left in the late innings. They're not necessarily always going to pinch hitters. If Will has a day off, if Bailey, the catcher, has a day off, they'll use those guys as pinch hitters, but they haven't used many pinch hitters. The big picture stuff that's changed is a true emphasis, and I think it's been remarkable. The Giants talked about it all spring. They continue to talk about it, and it is evidence to me of if you really, truly emphasize something and back up your words with actions, you can get results based on like what you say is important becomes important. And the Giants have placed huge importance on base running. They're way better as a base running team. They've placed big importance on defense. They're a better defensive team. So the things that they have talked about and emphasized have come to fruition this first month. We'll see how long it lasts, but it's been fun to watch.
That's really good insight. Dave Fleming with us, Giants Radio right now, John and Jim. What about Willie Adames? The Giants have gotten off to this great start, and Adames, you look at the numbers, obviously they haven't been up to his standard. He signs this huge deal. What's this first month been like for him in a Giants uniform?
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. He better be.
Yeah.
He hasn't been great. I think we saw this with Chapman last year. First month, new contract, new team. There are a bunch of pressures. There's an adjustment period. And I think he's gone through that. A lot of good signs lately, better at bats, taking a few more walks, not chasing as much as in the first few weeks of the year. I do think, look, Oracle Park in San Francisco, he does have power to right center, and those are going to be hard to come up with at home. And so to me, he looks a little pull happy right now, maybe trying to hit the ball over the wall at home where you can't do it to right center field. Be interesting to come on the road for these 2 days and see if that approach pays dividends where maybe he goes back to right center field a little more frequently. I think he's going to be just fine. He is a incredible personality. I mean, you guys have seen that in the past, not often with the Brewers, but you just see it, as a baseball fan, and it's really true. Like he is beloved already by his teammates, total Mr. Positive, no matter what his numbers look like every day, same energy, same enthusiasm. So I give him a lot of credit for that. I mean, it's not just Adames. Patrick Bailey's offense has been way, way down. Lamont Wade Jr. has really struggled at first base. So the Giants from three different positions on the diamond just aren't getting much offense at all. And they're still in first place and still have had a nice month. So I'm assuming that all three of those guys at some point here are going to get back to kind of their normal selves.
Bob Melvin, year 2 with the Giants now. We also know him well here in San Diego. Does he look a little more comfortable in year 2, in your opinion, compared to last year, or any changes from Bob from last year to this year that you've seen?
I think so. I mean, I think he's got the staff that he likes, which he had mostly last year, but I think, maybe a couple tweaks have helped him on that front. I think he's more comfortable with the personnel group this year. In a weird way, I think Bob kind of likes teams that aren't, I don't want to say aren't full of stars, but I think he likes to manage a team that has a real team approach. I think he really enjoys that part of the game. And so I think this roster matches the way he sort of likes to have it set up. So, yeah, I think he's a little more comfortable with the Giants in year 2. It's hard coming to a place, and this is no knock on the Padres or the A's where he had such a great run, or even Seattle and Arizona. But he grew up in the Bay Area. He grew up a massive Giants fan. He grew up watching Willie Mays and Willie McCovey and Juan Marichal. And he dreamed from the time he was a little kid of being a Giant as a player, a manager, whatever. And I think when he got that job last year, he put a lot of pressure on himself in that role for the first time. I think this year now he's the Giants manager. Everybody knows it, and he's doing a good job.
Dave, final one for me would just be about the way the Giants are winning some of these games. Like when you see something play out, like what played out, I think it was Sunday,
Little League home run.
When you win on a Little League home run, do you just start to say, hey, maybe this is going to be one of those years? Or how do you get it the way they've won some of these games?
Yeah, I think you do get a sense, and a team can build some momentum of like, hey, this is a special group or a special year, and you start to kind of believe that, and it gives you a little more bounce or a little more confidence going out there night to night. The other thing I think is when you don't beat yourself with mistakes, when you basically, what the Giants' philosophy in a lot of ways right now is don't beat ourselves. The opponent, if we put enough pressure on and don't give openings, the opponent will make mistakes and we can take advantage of those. And then the bullpen's been outstanding. So the Giants have been able to stay in games even when they fall behind. They've done an excellent job of they've had one blowout loss the entire year. And otherwise they're in every single game. And the bullpen just gives them a chance to where late, every once in a while, Little League home run, whatever it is, they've just given themselves an opportunity game in and game out. And the bullpen has a lot to do with that. And I think if you look back in history and said, gosh, the teams that win close games, teams that find ways to win or exceed expectations, I think a lot of times a bullpen has a lot to do with it, just for that reason, where you don't fall out of games, and it's like the odds just say that if you do that game after game after game, stuff starts to bounce your way.
We're going to see two really good ones over the next 2 days with the Giants and the Padres. Dave, appreciate you taking time for us here in San Diego. Have a good couple of days here in America's Fox City, and thanks for the time.
Thanks, Dave.
I think it'll be a big time atmosphere inside there. These are important games. Weirdness of the Giants is these are the first 2 division games of the year for the Giants. So they haven't played in the NL West until tonight. So I'm looking forward to it.
That is bizarre. Padres just 3 games so far against the Rockies. Yeah. Dave, thank you. Have great calls. All right. He will. He'll have good calls.
He'll always have good calls.
Okay. So that was Dave Fleming from earlier.
It was?
Yeah, that was Dave Fleming.
Wow.
Giants radio broadcaster. Okay, we're getting you ready for tonight. Padres and Giants game 1 of a 2-game series. Jim's back page is still ahead. Don't go anywhere. It's John and Jim. All right. So, are your monthly bills keeping you up at night? Worried about your finances in these crazy times? Hey, guys, it is Schaefer. If you're like most people, you've racked up a sizable amount on your credit cards and the monthly payment is not making a dent in it, it's time to call Loan Pronto. If you own a home, you have a super easy way to get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash. Loan Pronto has lots of options for helping you tap into the equity in your home and get the cash you need to get back on solid footing. Most homeowners who do this end up wiping out all their credit card debt and cutting their monthly expenses by $1,000. Look, you didn't mean to end up here, but you don't have to keep stressing about money. Call Loan Pronto for fast debt relief now. 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336, loanpronto.com. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. All right, Lakers, Timberwolves tomorrow night, game 5. First round Western Conference. Lakers down 3-1. Win or stay home for LA. Tip off at 7 right after SDFC Midweek Live, and you're home for the Lakers in San Diego. San Diego Sports 760. Can the Padres snap a 4-game losing streak tonight? Logan Webb. We've barely touched on Nick Pivetta. I mean, we did earlier. We've spent a lot of time on Webb, the struggles, Xander. If there's been a constant bright spot, I mean, all year, there's been Fernando Tatis Jr. and there's been Nick Pivetta. Pivetta has been brilliant. He's got a 1.2 ERA. He's been even better than that, I think, at home. Let's hope we see that Nick Pivetta one more time here tonight for the Padres.
So he's had 3 starts here at Petco Park.
Okay.
These are his 3 starts here at Petco. 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs.
That's good.
7 innings, 3 hits, no runs.
Good.
6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run.
Oh, you let it run?
I know, bum.
Like someone crossed home plate?
Yeah, it's not good.
Right.
Here are his strikeout totals. All right.
Mm-hmm.
In 3 games at home, he has struck out 20 batters. You want to know how many batters he has walked?
At home?
Yeah.
1.
2.
Okay. So 10-1 strikeout to walk ratio at home.
He's allowed 9 base runners here at Petco Park this season.
20 innings. Wow.
9 base runners, 2 walks, and 7 hits.
Dude, it's going to be down there tonight.
No, 8 hits, sorry.
8 hits in 20 innings.
Yeah.
Tonight, and we've said this a lot this year, like it's going to be rocking. Giants in town, 2 good teams on paper, Tony Gwynn bobblehead. There's, 40-something thousand, right?
Yep, sell out
it's
again.
just going to be one of those nights again. Now, most nights are like that. I would say with the exception of some Wednesday day games, you don't have the full
like tomorrow
playoff feeling. Yeah, like it's not 44,000. Their crowds are still great for Wednesday day games compared to the rest of the league. But tonight's going to be like, it would feel to me probably comparable to like a playoff type game.
Remember earlier in the year, I think it was a giveaway night. It might have been like a lost shirt
Monday
night or something. And it was like record crowd of 47,000. Like, wait, whoa, what?
I know.
It was definitely a giveaway night. And this is the strategy that they have implemented, which is very smart on Eric Rupner's part, doing all giveaways during weekdays.
Mondays and Tuesdays.
Like, why do a giveaway on a Saturday night when you know you could sell it out if you didn't do a giveaway? Like, do it on a Monday. Do it on a Wednesday. Do it on a Tuesday.
No, you're right.
Those games that you're looking to have people buy tickets to, because Saturdays and Sundays and Friday nights, they're fine with that. You're good. This team is going to sell out those games.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just, again, it's so early that you have to be careful to make any like broad assessment.
Season's over.
But you win 2, you can't say they're going to the World Series. You lose 2, you can't say the season is over. They're not going to the postseason. But I don't know, just the way they played against Tampa left you wanting a lot more. And now an off day. This has been their 3rd off day in the last 8 days. No, Thursday will be their 3rd off day in their last 8 days. Like you're coming off an off day and you're coming off a series where you didn't show up. 3 runs in 3 games isn't good enough at home against Tampa. So I'm expecting more tonight. I hope it doesn't look like the same old from this week without Arraez. I know Arraez is back. If this, and I know Logan Webb's good, but if they lose 2-0 tonight, I'd be like, really? You get Arraez back and you're coming off an off day and you got shut out?
Yeah, and this week has already started off awful because they've lost 4 in a row. They've looked anemic at the plate, and some of their biggest superstars, highest paid players in the lineup are all underperforming. You need them to show up when they're dealing with injuries, and they just haven't shown up. And it's a frustrating watch right now. It's definitely frustrating. And, those Thursday off days after a Wednesday day game leading into a Friday night game, those can feel like forever. And if you don't play well in this series against the Giants, the next 72 hours are going to be like hell. It's going to be awful.
Yeah, it is true, because you bring up the good point, because then they start a 9-game road trip, and I'm all for piling on the Rockies, but I kind of prefer to wait until after that Rockies series on the road. It's like, they're 4-24, which they are. But let's get through that series. Let's get through the Pittsburgh series. Oh, and there's no Paul Skeens. All right, well, get through the series and win it. Get through the Rockies series, win it. We'll see what they do with the Yankees. But you're right. If you don't play well these next 2 days, your next 9 are on the road. And it's a small sample size, but they haven't been good on the road.
I was just talking about from a fan's perspective and us, the best thing about baseball, one of the best things about baseball is, it's an everyday sport.
Yeah.
So you go 0 for one day, you can wipe that slate clean very quickly because you got a game the next night. You can go 4 for 4 that night, and then 0 for 4 yesterday. Feels like it happened a month ago.
True.
But when you have as many off days as the Padres have had in the last week, when you lose, it just feels even worse because you can't just, as a fan, reset, all right, game tonight, we'll wash that away. And if they win, then you're not thinking about what happened on Sunday. Or you're not thinking about what happened on Wednesday if they, lose tomorrow against the Giants and you play a Thursday game. But they've had an off day yesterday. They played tonight, tomorrow afternoon, no game tomorrow night, no game Thursday night, no game until Friday
night. Yeah, it's a long time.
And when you're playing bad, people start to say some crazy things and start thinking some wild thoughts, and it just becomes such a frustrating time because the best thing about baseball, or one of the best, is that it's an everyday sport. You can quickly wipe the slate clean when your team is struggling by just winning a baseball game the next day.
All they got to do tonight, easier said than done, against one of the better pitchers in the sport, Logan Webb. They do have Luis Arraez back in their lineup, pairing with Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. We'll see if it's enough behind Nick Pivetta. We'll continue to get you ready, plus Jim's back page. We're here until 6, John and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by eBay. Padres and Giants start a 2-game series tonight at Petco Park, 6:40. First pitch, Nick Pivetta on the mound for the Padres against Logan Webb for the Giants. The good news for the Padres is Luis Arraez back in the lineup tonight, hitting second for the Padres. NBA playoff action happening right now. Bucks Pacers in a tight one. Bucks lead the Pacers 101-97 with 1 minute remaining in the fourth quarter. Bucks they're trying to extend this series. Pacers are trying to finish off the Bucks as they have a 3-1 lead. Knicks and Pistons, 5:25 left in the first half. Pistons leading the Knicks 36-31. Celtics and Magic tip off moments from now in Boston. And tonight, Clippers and Nuggets, game 5, with that series tied at 2 games apiece, 7 p.m. in Denver. Swapping out your tires, there's nothing like it. With eBay, you find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip rough terrain. Get all the tires you need at prices you'll love. eBay, things people love.
All right, John and Jim on San Diego Sports 760. Again, Jim's back page is coming up. You mentioned this Pacers-Bucks game. We've talked a lot about the West, obviously, with the Lakers trailing 3-1, with the Rockets now trailing the Warriors 3-1. This would be maybe more improbable if Milwaukee comes back from 3-1, because games 5 and 7 would be in Indianapolis against the Pacers. They still have a long way to go. They might not even win this game, but they do lead inside of a minute, trying to get it to a 6th game, and then maybe try to get it back to Indiana for game 7.
And they lost Damian Lillard to an Achilles injury.
Point. Yep.
So
you figure, honestly, heading into a game like this, to that point, you figure the series over.
Yeah.
Indiana at home will close it out. They trailed by 22 early in this game. Indy did, yeah.
So
35-13, I think.
Milwaukee came out on fire.
Yep.
Another series happening right now, game 5, Knicks Pistons. That's been a
good series,
literally like a fight. Like that entire series, that series and the Rockets Warriors series has been like, if you love 90s NBA, you will have loved these two series, because it's been very physical. We all know what happened in game 4 between the Knicks and Pistons. Should have been a foul there on Tim Hardaway Jr. at the end. Refs didn't call it. 2-minute report came out, said they missed it, blew that one. Probably should be 2-2 right now in the series, but instead Knicks have a 3-1 series lead, looking to close them out tonight in New York. To me, I said this before the start of the postseason, for the first round at least. First round series, best series so far has been Nuggets Clippers, no question.
2-2, right?
2-2 tonight, game 5, 7 p.m. tip. Every single game has been fantastic in that series.
Those have been good. What else has been really good so far? Like you said, I mean,
Rockets Warriors has been good.
Has been good. Pistons Knicks has been good.
Lakers and Timberwolves, besides game 1 or 2, I think game 2 when the Lakers blew them out, has been really good. Like, I know that those are 3 series are 3-1, Rockets, Warriors, and then Lakers and Mavs, or not Mavericks, Timberwolves, but they've been all really good games. Like that Sunday afternoon game between the Mavericks. Why do I say Mavericks?
I don't know.
Timberwolves.
That was a great
Lakers,
game.
That was a fantastic
Lakers
game.
a shot to win at the final seconds. I'm watching now the final seconds of this Pacers-Bucks game, because I'm just kind of fascinated by it. And they're tied up with 10 seconds left.
Good defense.
Yeah, what happened there? Didn't even like a whistle on blood? That was hilarious. We mentioned earlier, could Tyrese Halliburton go to any 16 seed in the NCAA tournament and like win the NCAA tournament? And I don't know what the answer is to that, but he just had a slam dunk to tie the score with 10 seconds left.
I just saw what the Pacers like giveaway t-shirt is in the crowd.
What's it say? It's yellow.
It says yes, and then underneath it says sirs. Awful?
What is it even? Like Pacers?
But it's yes sirs.
Awful.
Yeah,
like you don't have to stop trying so hard. Just make a yellow shirt that says Pacers on it. Or
yes,
like,
sirs.
Beat the Bucks.
Oh, it's Caitlin Clark.
Yeah,
in the building.
That's right.
Yes, sirs.
That's a new one for. Maybe that's their slogan or motto for the year.
Yes, sirs.
Do the Padres have a slogan or motto for this team this year?
Well, during this stretch, it's
score a run.
Can
challenge.
You guys score a run? Score a
yeah,
run.
Because I mentioned it earlier that since Arraez went out and he comes back tonight. Let me find this. They're 1-5 without Arraez. They've hit 167. They've scored the fewest runs in baseball, 9.
Is that good?
In 6 games. No.
No.
And tonight's not the night where you're thinking, well, everything changes because of Logan Webb. But again, score 2 runs and win. I'm fine with it. Score 2 runs and lose, we got a problem.
The Giants are a good team, and they're throwing out their best pitcher tonight.
Yep.
I don't know who's pitching tomorrow for the Giants.
Good question.
Is it Robbie Ray?
It's not. Because I saw it, but I forget who it is.
Oh, it's Landon Rupp.
Landon Rupp?
Rupp or Raup? How do you say his last name?
What's the spelling?
Roupp.
Oh, yeah, Landon R.
Landon R.
What are his numbers?
He's 2-1 with a 4.56.
You got to get one of these. Like, end of sentence. You can't go 0-5 in a homestand.
Well, you got Pivetta tonight. You got King tomorrow because they aren't doing the 5-man rotation. It's a 4-man rotation. So because of that, you get an extra start of Michael King at home. We talked about this last week.
Yeah, that's it. Hopefully, proves to be important. Like this is not the series to go waste Kyle Hart, which is why he's in AAA.
No, this is the series where you got your 2 best pitchers on the mound this year, Pivetta and King.
Yeah,
go out there and
win them.
Not just play good baseball finally for the first time in 2 weeks, but go take 2 games from the Giants. This is a big series. You want to finish off the month right. You want to get out of this, rut that you're in. You're getting some guys back. Can Xander do anything? Can Manny start heating up again? Can Tatis continue to play the way he's playing? How much is Arraez going to help in this lineup? Like, can you do all the little things that you were doing right at the beginning of the year now?
I hope the off days help, man, because if any of this stems from back-to-back foul balls off the same spot on his foot in Houston, well, that's always a concern. He'll never tell you about it, and he'll play every day. But typically he'll play every day, and they might have a stretch of 14 consecutive games. Since that Sunday game, they've been off twice. They're off again Thursday. They've DH'd him at least one time over that stretch. Like, they've gotten him off his feet. Mm-hmm. There's been off days. He's DH'd. I just, we were so excited about what it meant to get Manny back from that elbow, right? Because all last year was about, he's come back from the elbow. It might take a full year. He got off to such a nice start. I felt so confident in the play of Machado, and I'm still confident in his overall ceiling for the season, but I'm just kind of wondering, like, does it stem from the foot? We'll never know. Is he just going through regression because it happens? It's only 50-something at bats, but I don't know. I just want to see him play like he played the first 2 weeks of the season, because, again, coming off the elbow a year removed from it, I'm like, this guy is scot-free. He's healthy. Maybe he's going to have one of his best seasons as Padre. He still may. But we questioned the power last year, and he found it in the second half. And I think there are people questioning his power right now. He's hit 2 home runs in 28 games. It's not a huge number, even if it is early.
I'm not questioning his power because I know he's going to get hot.
He'll hit 29 home runs.
He'll have a week where he hits like 3 or 4 home runs, and he'll have a month where he hits 7 or 8. He'll get red hot, and by God, is he going to get to his numbers regardless of how he feels?
Forces it.
He forces it. He's like, I'm at 16 home runs. Well, let me have a week where I hit 3.
Yeah.
And then it's like he gets hot, he gets his numbers, and the back of his baseball card will look really good when he makes the Hall of Fame.
That's the thing about the Hall of Fame. He's able to keep those numbers going at such a clip. It'll be hard to keep him out if he keeps doing this.
But there are times when you are frustrated with Manny, because it's like, I'm not doubting that you're not going to get hot. You are. Right. You're going to get your numbers, but it's frustrating to watch sometimes because you're like, your team's in a big rut here, and there's a bunch of guys injured. Can we, maybe take over the reins here and carry this team for a week? And he hasn't done that. And then it's compounded by the guy behind him, who has been even worse, Xander Bogaerts. So,
yeah, no, it's important time for someone like Manny. It is. It's always an important time for someone like Manny because he's always under a microscope
and a microphone
and a microphone glass. He's always under a microphone glass. I was just looking because I'm like, is he at 2,000 hits yet? He's 72 hits shy of 2,000.
Oh, he'll get there, and he knows what number he's at.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, he's going to get there, and he's only 32 years of age, and he's hit 344 home runs. It's not about that anymore. It's about winning. Mm-hmm. It's about helping his team get back to the postseason, and then once you're in the postseason, winning and helping the team win in the postseason. All right. Well, this game went to overtime, by the way. Pacers and Bucks is in overtime.
That dunk by Tyrese Halliburton at the end of the game was to force overtime.
That happened like at the buzzer?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. So they are in overtime. Pacers close it out with a win tonight at home. Bucks trying to force a 6th game. Lakers tomorrow. You can hear right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 7 p.m. SDFC Midweek Live is at 6 p.m. tomorrow right here on San Diego Sports 760.
Programming note.
More programming. Oh, yeah. I know where you're going to go with this.
Programming note. Tomorrow, 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Penn will be joining us right here on John and Jim.
Tom Penn is the CEO of SDFC.
Yes. There are some things we need to talk to him about as far as...
Are you gonna like put him under, like hold his feet to the fire and be like, yo, let's talk about the midfield right now. Or what do you... I mean, they do have 4 matches coming up in their next 5 at home.
Yes.
They are drawing incredibly well. What's their average? 30,000 plus.
Around there. I think they drew like 28 last...
They've had a couple of 34, 35s they've announced.
Yeah. So,
they do giveaways at all? Is that a dumb question?
Yeah, it's a dumb question.
They do a lot of giveaways?
They do giveaways, yeah.
Like bobbleheads?
Not like bobbleheads, but like hats, scarves, stuff like that.
I see that. Okay. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go and they have a good giveaway.
Yeah. They have a bunch of home matches here in May. that we'll be talking to him about, a couple events that we'll be talking to him about as well. So yeah, Tom Penn, the CEO of San Diego FC, will be joining us tomorrow at 3 p.m.
He's no stranger to the show. We've had him a number of times over the last, I'd say, year or two with SDFC. All right, on the other side, we've got Jim's back page. We are here until 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere. It's John and Jim. Oh, final time. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. You can join us tonight on YouTube. Something we like to call a wrap-up show. Following game one of the series, Padres and Giants, coming up in less than an hour, where I think most of, or a lot of fans are probably flooded in for this bobblehead. Tony Gwynn bobblehead, one of the marquee giveaways of the season, I would say, for the Padres tonight, 1982. Tony Gwynn. Turn your mic on.
I did. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Yep, it's on.
So this is a rookie Tony Gwynn bobblehead. Pretty
Correct.
Cool.
Oh yeah, it's one of those must-haves this year as far as bobbleheads go. They've done a great job with their bobbleheads the last 4 or 5 seasons. There's no exception this year. The Jackson Merrill bobblehead already this season.
Is that before the injury?
That was it before the injury?
Know.
No, I think it was after the injury.
Okay.
Yeah, because I don't remember him playing on his bobblehead night. Do you?
Not really, truthfully. What do they still have? Arraez La Regadera bobblehead?
It's like the ball's on like a sprinkler, like water, and he's like hitting it. It's pretty cool. Mike King bobblehead.
Yeah.
Dylan
With the crown?
With the crown. Dylan Cease, no hitter bobblehead. Tony won tonight. Do they have any more? They have to have like a Tatis or anyone. Do they already have one? No.
I don't know. Did they do the Gurriel bobble before the DFA or not?
Yeah, I think all those bobbleheads are going to be like shipped off somewhere to like.
Do they have a Xander
Canada or something?
Do they have a Xander GIDP doll?
It's fun. It is funny. Rich McGuire, loyal listener to the show. We love it, Rich.
Yeah.
He is like the guy that gets me these bobbleheads.
He's your guy.
He's my guy. Because I can't go to some of these games, and so he's like, I got you, bro. And he asked me, I think it was last year. And he's like, yo, do you want the Xander bobblehead?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Is that what you said?
I did.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm good.
I'm good.
What am I going to do with that?
I like Xander a lot. This has nothing to do with Xander as a person, but man, as a baseball player, it's tough to watch.
How did you not make his bobblehead the back of your head?
Man, you are so right. How did I not get
his bobblehead?
How did I not get his bobblehead? You're right. I'm an idiot.
All right, let's get to it.
KFC, John, is bringing back their famous chicken and waffles option.
Oh, wow.
KFC is officially bringing back one of its most beloved menu items, the chicken and waffle. For the first time in 5 years, the returning favorite is available in several meal options, $7 tender and waffle box, which gets you 3 original recipe tenders served with a waffle and some syrup. You can also get 2-piece fried chicken and waffle box, which is 2 pieces of juicy fried chicken, drum roll and a thigh, available in original recipe and extra crispy with waffle and syrups. And then $25 chicken and waffle fan favorite box, which is a shareable meal with 4 pieces of fried chicken, 12 KFC nuggets, 4 waffles, 2 individual fries, 4 syrups, and dipping sauces.
Would you or have you ever done that? Would that be like something you would have, chicken and waffles from KFC?
No, I would. I never, because I have not eaten KFC in a long time. There's reasons for that. And I don't remember them ever having chicken and waffles when I would eat KFC. I would eat it a lot.
I didn't know they had it 5 years ago and they're bringing it back. But okay, they're bringing it back.
They are bringing it back. Interesting story. So if you have T-Mobile, they give you some special deals on T-Mobile. One of them is the MLB app.
Yeah.
Brent, I think, has the T-Mobile app. But one of the deals on their app last Tuesday that nearly put Wingstop out of business.
Really?
Because one of the deals they had was 1 cent Wingstop 3-piece chicken tender combo deals.
1 penny.
1 cent.
You just had to show up?
What happened was a Reddit user posted this online and it blew up to the point where there were Wingstops that had to shut down because they were just out of wings.
Food.
They're out of food.
And they were getting no money for it.
They were out of food.
Yeah.
And for 1 cent, it's like, what are we doing here?
Right.
And so now what you can do is you can like save offers in like your T-Mobile app. Well, Wingstop has decided to cancel that and stop people from going and getting 1 cent combo meals.
Are they going to do anything since they can't honor that? Like a different offer? Or no, it's just off. There's no more offer.
There's no more offer, but one person like listen to this meal.
Okay.
All right. They got a $2 Tender Tuesday item.
Okay.
Along with a 3-piece crispy tender combo
for 1 cent.
Well, the 2 tender Tuesday is for $2.
Okay.
It was like a promotion on Tuesdays.
Mm-hmm.
They got, so 2 tender, 3 piece crispy tender combo with a 20-ounce soft drink, fries, ranch, seasoning, $2.18
for all that.
So Wingstop was like, okay, we're done. We're done. This happened last Tuesday.
That's crazy.
And it made its rounds on the interwebs.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's done. You can't take advantage anymore.
No.
It's
And finally, sad day in baseball, John. Did you see this?
I don't know.
The New York Mets today announced the passing of Seymour Wiener,
who was
a diehard Mets fan.
Seymour Wiener was
a diehard Mets fan. And that's a 100% real person's name.
And they paid homage on social media?
Yes, they did.
Okay. Yeah, you're not kidding.
Yeah. So we pay our respects here on the John and Jim show to Seymour Wiener. And we...
what do I want to see what the
peace.
comment section looks like, or probably not?
If you want to.
It's what you'd expect. It's exactly what you'd expect on X.
Yes,
is what it
is.
is.
So yeah, that's the back page today, Jim.
Okay, it's a very good back page.
Yes.
Again, Padres and Giants coming up in about 45 or so minutes. It's a nice night for a game, is it not? It was nice out today, dude. Weather is
well,
perfect.
we didn't know because we don't have any
I know.
Windows in this studio.
But I mean, yeah, it'll be a nice night. It'll be a nice night. So hopefully I can score some runs is my point. I don't need 50 in Marine layer, but it'll probably be 50 in Marine layer.
Over under 3 runs for the Padres tonight.
I mean, it's hard to take the over, isn't it? That means 4. So it's like, I feel like the over should be 2. Right. I mean, are you taking the over?
I will take the under right now.
I'll go with the reverse jinx. I'll take the under.
Hey, go out there and prove me wrong. Make me look like an idiot tomorrow.
I'm cool with 3 if they win. I'm cool with 2 if they win.
I'm cool with 1 if they win.
That's the thing. I'll stick with that tonight. But I'm not cool with the opposite.
Like, how about you pick up a win?
If they score a run tonight and lose 3-1, that's not good enough. Or they score 2 runs and lose 3-2. Yeah, they just need to win. I don't care what the score is.
How about this? They win 3-2.
Mm-hmm.
Xander hits a go-ahead home run in the 8th inning.
Oh, ho, ho, ho. Go ahead.
Narrative, baby. Give me the narrative. Give me the go
What's
ahead.
the narrative? He's back?
Just that, yeah. All the talk of Xander sucks the last 72 hours.
Stupid.
Right.
How could you quit on Xander Bogaerts? Have you seen what he's done? He's won 2 World Series.
Like, can you give me a 2-for-3 night with a walk and a go-ahead home run in the 8th inning?
Wow. Go ahead. Like from 2-1 down to 3-2 up. Imagine
like a go-ahead 2-run homer. That'd be awesome. How about a go-ahead 2-run homer and the runner is in scoring position, so it counts
even better
towards his average
that we talked about
with
earlier.
runners in scoring position.
Man,
help the slug, get him on the board with a home run.
I don't know if I could see that. By the way,
he'd be a hero in town.
This real quick, and we might be off the air before the game comes to an end. But the Bucks Pacers, the Bucks just had a 118-111 lead in overtime with a minute to play. They've turned it over.
Watch out, Martin.
Pacers have a final chance to win this game and move on.
Good defense.
And they might do it. They have taken a lead.
Oh my God.
That's the second time Tyrese Halliburton just walked
defense was that
through the lane and scored.
And they have no timeouts.
Right, so they can't advance the ball.
And
There's
they got
1 second left.
Oh, that's
and
over.
the Pacers have won in 5. That is a miracle comeback.
Hey, what I say, Tyrese Halliburton, he would take Florida, whatever, Atlantic FAU.
No, he'd take a 16 seed, you're saying, and win.
Give me a 16 seed. Charlton of
Alabama State.
Yeah, Alabama State. Take
American.
Alabama State.
I love the schools you made up.
I don't know.
Indiana comes back to 7 down with a minute to play.
They're
shot
fighting.
Milwaukee.
Fight!
I feel like every NBA game now.
Is that Tyrese Halliburton's dad?
I don't know.
He's up to fight Giannis.
All right. If you missed anything today, sportssc.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify. We'll see you tonight for a wrap-up show. For Marshall and Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here, San Diego Sports 760.
Okay, bye.